What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shervink here. We got a special one here. Late summer training camp's getting rolling, so why not go back to the NFL draft? Of course, it's on everybody's minds. But yeah, great group in here. We're going to draft the 2026 NFL draft classes. We're gonna go through 4 rounds on a snake draft. I've got the duck race ready to go once we kick things off. So gonna be fun. Gonna be great time to put input in on draft classes we like, where some of us may disagree. Everybody's probably got a little bit of a different board, which I think is really exciting. So yeah, let's flip it around the horn here really quick. I'll start to my right for Smitty. If you want a quick introduction, just let the people know what you're working on, where they can find you.
What's going on, guys? My name is Vita Vea. You can find me hopefully not in Tampa Bay in the very near future. No, my name is Zachary Smith. You can find me Zachary Smith PGH. I host 8 to 10 podcasts a week over at Around the 412 Steelers Afternoon Drive with Steelers Now. My guy Alan Saunders, my co-host over there, just recently dove into some written work as well. Started a Substack, Smitten with Sports, just recently. Today, actually just a couple hours ago, dropped my Smitty Scoops, the first one of the season. What I'm hearing on the Pittsburgh Steelers ahead of the team reporting to training camp.
Love that. Juice.
All right, CPGM Juice of Couch Potato General Manager, YouTube channel. I am not terribly active in the X streets, so I won't bother plugging that aspect of it, but you can certainly find me at Couch Potato General Manager on YouTube. I've been a bit of a drought here in the summer. It's been a long summer, a long, arduous summer. So getting back into the swing of things, and looking forward to kind of putting a bow on the 2026 class.
And Marcus, his first appearance. Welcome.
Hey guys, I'm Marcus. I'm the host of the Tape Don't Lie show on YouTube. It's a Raiders show that we do a lot of film work and also do some Friday Night Live stuff and some live streams and stuff like that. So go check that out if you're a Raiders fan. It's a cool thing to do. We do a whole bunch of Raiders stuff, and also do some writing for silverandblackpride.com and Just Blog Baby. So I just started that in June. So doing some extra writing there, and and I cover the draft like crazy. So I'm all over that as well.
Awesome. Well, we are going to get into it here. We have not yet determined our order, and that's what we're about to do right now. Gonna set the duck race up here, and we should be rearing to go right off the bat. All right.
Come on, big money, big money, big money.
Does anyone want the first overall pick? Does anyone not want the first overall pick?
Don't matter.
Don't matter. Okay,
Don't
that's
matter.
good. All right, well, we're off. We're rolling. The duck race is off. If you're out front, usually a good sign if you don't want the first pick. Oh no!
Why does Jake have a crown? Oh, this
No.
We're fading off. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that late run right there.
Wow.
Ooh, all right. Well, there is our order.
He's still going. It's like running through the tunnel.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I gotta celebrate, man. I gotta celebrate.
All right, Marcus gets the first overall pick. I will have the second. Smitty the third, and then Juice will bring us back on the snake. I am going to quickly shift tabs here so we can see and then bring up teams. I will have us on the banners here as well with who goes. But Marcus, the floor is yours with the first overall pick.
I really hate this.
It's pressure.
Oh, is he going to do the thing? Is he going
Can we trade picks?
No, I'm not gonna trade pick. I
mean, you could.
I just hate to do this because it is my favorite draft, and I just hate this football team. If you can see where I'm going with this,
Ooh.
I'm gonna go the Chiefs.
Wow. Okay. The Chiefs.
I'm gonna go
first.
the Chiefs, just because their first 3 picks. I mean, honestly, their first 5 picks I really like. Mansur Delane, Peter Woods at 29, R. Mason Thomas, Jaden Kennedy at Oregon slot, and then Emmett Johnson, and then you even go Cyrus Allen at wide receiver. I think that's it's a pretty great draft. It really hurt me to do this. I was tempted to go Carolina just out of spite. It's my grades. I thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, KC. I think Miami might have been close to for me. I thought Miami had a really good draft.
He's revealing his board. These are field his board. He's with six picks in between him. Oh man.
I'm trying to go where my mind is.
No,
here.
I got you.
Out of picking KC, but yeah, I really did like this draft, and I was trying to find a bad pick here and at a value, right? And it's all great value, and it bothers me a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were swinging on QBs a little earlier, maybe than people thought, and them to get Nussmeier in the 7th, very nice there. I agree. I love Jaden Kennedy. That guy is if there's a DB Spags personified in the draft, it's gotta be. I feel like it's gotta be him.
You profiled him, didn't you, Jake?
I did. Yeah, I did. I did do a post draft one on him, and yeah, he's got that mentality that I think Spags just really loves, and yeah, I mean. Little slight trade up, they go get the guy they want, and this is like a secondary reload, which they obviously needed. Everybody headed out to Hollywood, to LA. So, anyone else on the Chiefs?
No, it's a strong class.
Nothing that wasn't said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a strong class.
I had him as the top 3.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Okay. Oh man. It's me at number 2. It's between 2. These are my top 2 on the board. I had Kansas City near the top. I'm just trying to. Juice and Smitty probably know this. Marcus might not, but there's a team that drafted like all of my favorite players that I really would like to pick here. Oh man, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna leave Smitty with probably a division rival here at 3. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys at 2. I have to. These first 3 are just all world to me. Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence, Jay Sean Barham. I mean, just players that I wanted my favorite team to draft, and they didn't get that opportunity. Obviously, Caleb Downs for Christian Parker's scheme. That's going to be outrageous. He's going to play a lot of nickel, I'm sure, to kind of shut things down at and around the line of scrimmage. I still think he's going to get plenty of looks as kind of the rat defender. When they do rotations, he's going to play deep half. He's going to be poaching stuff. I just would not want to go up against this guy, even as a rookie. Malachi Lawrence, I've talked ad nauseum about Malachi Lawrence throughout the process of just like he is creative, effective at rushing the passer. And to be creative and effective, entering the league versus like, okay, you have a couple things – let's build off of this for a lot of these guys. Just to be able to have that skill set immediately, I think is massive. And then Barham, who just he thinks everything is his last collision on the field, and just playing edge rusher, playing linebacker. I think they're going to get creative with him. And then I mean, the rest of the class. I mean, LT Overton later in the 4th is totally fine. They're probably going to be using more on the interior, I would imagine. You get a swing at tackle, which is always a good thing, draft offensive lineman. And then you get a guy, if the injuries don't hamper him, Devin Moore in this scheme also could be really, really effective. So I just thought, I mean, when you take these 3 and the weight that I think that, you look at the first 3 rounds, what they carry very often, right? What the expectations are, what you want players to deliver on in those first 3 rounds, I think they just crushed it. And I think they got some really nice value and swings later as well.
Yeah, in a deep edge class, you were just kind of wondering who would crash the party in the first round. In terms of Marcus, he mentioned the Chiefs at the very top, right, and getting R. Mason Thomas in the second round. He thought perhaps the size kind of pushes him out of the top 32 selections. But who was it going to be? Was it going to be Cassius Howell? There were concerns about the arm length. TJ Parker, is he dynamic enough? So there were a lot of guys just kind of on the fringe there, and then Malachi Lawrence just forced his way into the conversation. So those first 3 picks in particular are excellent in my mind. And to your point, Jake, I'm really excited about what Devin Moore can do if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, in my opinion, the first 3 picks are fantastic. So I was pretty high on this draft too, as well. Just because if you weigh the first 3 picks, I mean, those are all guys that really can make an impact. I mean, even Barham. I think me and Jake, we talked about him on Draft Professors.
Yeah.
He just has that, the talent is there. Like you can see that maybe there's something to develop, and that's why he's the perfect third round pick at edge rusher. Because I think that's when you take your shot at a project guy who has that athleticism. It's a perfect spot to take an edge rusher with that type of profile in the third round.
Yeah, I'll never forget him putting 4 USC guys on the floor in 2024, like right out the gate. Just like everybody was talking about that game, and I'm like, all right, go ahead. And then I just watched it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he is the type of player who you could tell just wants to be out there, wants it on every down.
We're like 3 months removed from the draft, and I'm still shaking my head about Caleb Downs falling to 11.
Well, there's that also, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
There's a division rival, I feel like, that may have
I hate it.
May have bottled it and not taking Caleb Downs, but we may get to that team tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But
oh, you talk about divisional teams. I thought you were just already pivoting to.
No, I was
forcing
talking
my
about.
hand into what I'm about.
I was
to
talking
do.
about New York, but
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to take the Browns.
Yep. Yep. The other team I was deciding between. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like a slight at Spencer Fano, but he's my least favorite of the first 4 picks, which is saying
I'm with you there.
Concepcion,
Smitty.
Boston,
I'm with you.
McNeil Warren is just ridiculous. I love the value on Parker Brailsford too, who I don't think is going to start, but the fact there's even a conversation about it, and he's been getting some reps with ones is pretty ridiculous. I thought that they had a great draft last year. We'll see how this one goes, but on paper, this is just insane back-to-back years.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Jefferson going to a linebacker room that's got Schlesinger in it. I mean, great stuff there. You mentioned that.
Are they gonna do it with Taylor Green and convert him to tight end or something?
Maybe. I mean, based on what they have at QB at the moment, like, does he want to compete? He might. Does he want to compete out there? He might get to. But no, McNeil Warren to 58 to me seemed just crazy that he made it that far. Nobody wanted to pounce on that potential. Even if it was like, we're not going to do the thing where like everybody's like, oh, we found the next Emin Worry, right? I don't think you necessarily had to be like, that's your approach with McNeil Warren. Maybe that's what people thought. Obviously, the one drawback with McNeil Warren is that he's hanging on to the mouthpiece literally all the time before the ball's snapped, and he's sometimes late into the fit when that happens. But yeah, I mean, that's really exciting. They need, I think, really an infusion of youth at DB, and getting someone like McNeil Warren was sweet.
There was a lot of buzz for him with the Steelers. I do wonder what would have been different for them had things played out the way that they thought it was going to in round 1. Notoriously being on the phone. What would have happened in round 2 for them if they would have gotten a wide receiver in round 1 like they wanted?
Sure.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But we don't have to continue to talk about the blunder that was.
It may come up.
I agree with Smitty.
It may come up for the wrong reasons tonight.
Sure.
I don't know.
It might, yeah.
So.
I agree with Smitty on this class. Fano's my least favorite selection. I don't hate the player, but he's my least favorite selection of that. The first couple of days of this draft, and you got some pretty good prospects on day 3 as well.
Like I totally forgot they got Concepcion and Boston. I was like when I was going through, I was like, wait a second, am I reading this? Am I looking at this right? Interesting. Yeah.
They look really well set for the QB. They're probably going to have to potentially draft next year. A lot of early mocks, of course, having Messemaker, Carr, all those guys in there. But this is, as Smitty kind of mentioned, like 2 in a row foundational like drafts where we're landing impactful players. If Graham gets up to his potential, Schlesinger, they got Judkins last year, like they. Yeah, this is Andrew Berry might have like, when you find that swing on the golf course, you're like, oh wow, I found it. Like I found something here. And that's maybe what we're seeing with Berry and the Browns, which I know Smitty is not. You don't like to see that, obviously, but
well, what gives me solace, and like I wouldn't say this about literally anybody else because like conventional wisdom says that this shouldn't be the case. It's the Browns though. Like I don't know how they're going to do it. But they will find a way for this to not work out.
Who knows? They may pick up Bryce Young.
In all reality, it's Jimmy Haslam not getting out of his own way. If he just let people do their jobs, I think they're in a much different situation.
You said Bryce Young. I was thinking Baker Mayfield return.
Well, that's what. Ooh, okay. Ooh, all right. They're going to have options. You know what it is? We might as well call it now. Kyler Murray has a resurgent year in Minnesota. They're like, we got to get a QB. Cleveland says, we'll take that guy. He looks great in O'Connell's offense, and I think they will turn over every stone.
Mm-hmm.
If Baker hits free agency, there might be a bidding war between the Steelers and Browns for his services.
Fascinating.
I think it'd be a lot more fun from his perspective to try to stick it to the Browns as well.
Yes, true.
Very fair. Very fair. Yeah. Okay. Feel like we've kind of hit, well, maybe not. We'll see what people think at the end of this, but it is an interesting spot where it feels like I kind of figured Cleveland and Dallas will be off the board at this point if I was picking fourth. So I'm interested to see where we go here. Juice.
I got the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the names that have come off the board, and two of my top six classes, and all of the first three came off in my top 10. I was probably the lowest on the Chiefs on this panel. I'm probably the lowest on the Chiefs, just because I guess it comes down to Peter Woods for me in a lot of ways, and I've defended Peter Woods quite a bit. I think he was played out of position a ton there at Clemson. I think from a coaching perspective, he did a bit of a disservice. But revisiting his tape, there were things that fell directly in his purview that he didn't do particularly well. So we'll see if Spags can get it out of him. So I was a little bit lower on him, but still a top 10 class, top to bottom. I love the Giants class. I really do. And of course, they had the benefit of multiple picks in the top 10. They didn't overthink it with Arvell Reese, and I'm also not necessarily the biggest fan of Arvell Reese. I think he certainly has all the physical tools, but there's some work to be done. That you can see behind me, and obviously the hat. Huge Francis Maui Noah fan. I thought they'd go Vega Ione or perhaps Maui Noah. I imagine, I'm not sure what's happening in training camp, but considering that they brought Illuminor back, obviously they have Thomas on the left side. I imagine he's going to start his career in the interior. That's my thought process. I think he could certainly be a Pro Bowler as guard, but fine at right tackle as well. I think what really ties this whole draft class together for me, though, is the Colton Hood pick on day 2 towards the top of the second round, right? Glaring need on the back end of that defense. The tape that he's put together over the last couple of years, both Colorado, Tennessee. Love his patience and his back pedal, physical. There's some questions in terms of long speed at times, but nothing too glaring. I really like that selection, considering that you went meeting potatoes at the top of the draft. You decided not to go the Mansour Delane direction there with the 5th overall pick, and you still come away with Hood, who very well could have found his way into the bottom of the first round. So he kind of ties it all together for him. You get another different type of body type in that receiving room with Malachi Fields. Another big body up front. Of course, you trade away Sexy Dexy. Bobby Jimison Travis helps to just kind of, give you some girth up front. And then I'm a big fan of J.C. Davis. I actually thought he should have been a day 2 selection, right? The way he's held up there in the Big Ten against some really stout competition has impressed me. So additional depth. They've had trouble, fielding a healthy 5 on a consistent basis. I do think they have the right pieces up front. It's just a matter of keeping those guys healthy. But bringing in J.C. Davis, letting him kind of be the swing tackle, you can actually play him at guard. He impressed me. He impressed me throughout his career, and then I think he kind of punctuated things in Mobile. And Jack Kelly, he's always around the football. That's another position that the Giants obviously needed to address later in the draft, but they could have done worse, certainly with those 3 6-round picks. So I really like the Giants draft class. They're top 2 class for me in 2026.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I think it was solid. I think that what's going to make or break it to me in terms of exactly how high I put them is Mawanoa playing tackle. Because if he sticks at guard, I'm sure he'll be great there. But 1-to-1, I would have taken Vanga Ioane if you're talking about knowing that's going to be guard.
That was my thought
if he
process
kicks out
too.
the tackle.
Yeah.
If he kicks out the tackle, that changes conversation.
The calculus, I guess, is again, what are you doing? You brought back Illuminor. Illuminor was an unrestricted free agent, right?
Mhm.
Or he was going to be, and they ultimately brought him back. You know, he's played well for them. Continuity. I'm sure Marcus is familiar with Illuminor as well as a Raiders fan. So I thought, you know, Vega made a ton of sense. Natural interior offensive lineman. But maybe they're thinking long term, right? If you start him out at guard, which you can, like I said, I think he's a Pro Bowl at guard very early in his career. You may have to kick him out at some point, whether it be, you know, Thomas, because he's dealt with injuries, you know, cap casualties, so on and so forth. So I certainly understand the thought process there in terms of going Vega instead of Maui Noah. But I like it all the same. It's a really good class to me, top to bottom.
Yeah, the only person I don't like in this class is Malachi Fields. I was kind of just lower on him. But that's besides that. I like the rest of these picks, to be honest.
Significant move up for him also.
Yeah.
Didn't love the significant. This feels like the Lions moving up for Tesla a little bit, where it was like, all right. I don't know if we're feeling ourselves that much. I don't know if we need to be like, oh, I can't miss from deep right now. You know, I'm just not sure.
Heat check. It was a heat check.
It was. I think. Hopefully, it doesn't end up a heat check for New York. But that one was like, whoa. Elijah Surratt, guys are still there. This is where we're going. I'll
tell you
they
what.
They had Colt on at 37. They started clapping their hands for the ball at half court.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I had the very same type of feel about Malachi Fields, incidentally, going into the Senior Bowl. But watching him in Mobile, watching him live, he was a bit more loose. Everything seemed to be a contested catch on Saturdays. Everything was a jump ball, so on and so forth. He was actually creating separation. The release package was looking good. He showed excellent body control throughout the practices, whether it be, you know, 1-on-1, 7-on-7. 1-on-ones you take with a grain of salt, obviously, but certainly 7-on-7 team. I saw a little bit more to his game than just kind of being that power forward playing above the rim type of deal. So that's why I gave him a break there. They needed to come away with the receiver. Obviously, you have the concerns with, you know, Neighbors and his recovery. They need to come away with one. He helped himself. He definitely helped himself during the pre-draft process. But I can understand why, you know, you might have some cold water with respect to Fields because his tape didn't necessarily match up to, you know, the weekend Mobile per se.
Yeah, I think for B, it was just, I think the one thing that kept them from being kind of in that, for me at least, thinking about them at the turn was, it's just, man, you let your division rival have Caleb Downs, and I just feel like you're gonna regret that one. I was sitting there. I remember sitting there drafting. I'm like, okay, they got Reese. They liked Reese more than Styles. Fine, whatever. That's fine. You know, to each their own. Totally understandable. And I'm sitting there at 10. I'm like, oh my gosh, they can just take this thing home. This is Steph from 3 at the Olympics. Just, oh man, we there's just no way we're gonna take 2 of the 3 best players in the draft. And even as Smitty mentioned, Ioane, it was kind of like, oh, they could get one of the 5 best, I think, if they want to go there. And nothing against Mawanoa. I think, as you mentioned, though, I think this is a long play. I think we might not see it with Mawanoa like we see it with Downs and Ioane immediately, or maybe even Bain, where it's kind of like, okay, it might look, there's a chance, again, I absolutely wrong on this, there's a chance that, you know, we may not see it, but there's a chance that I'm going to be like, okay, this is a 2028, like, oh, here he is. We've figured it out. We're, you know, and he's probably going to, as you mentioned, get the benefit of the doubt of like, you know, this is a future tackle, but for now, you know, and so that might be, you know, where we sit at, like, you know, these draft classes, evaluation takes a little bit more time. But yeah, I think that's what soured me a little bit on draft day. It was just kind of like, we could have shut this door with it. Like,
they had 2 cracks at Downs,
emphatically,
right? So,
shut this door and like, you know, but
with 2 cracks at him, I understand that sentiment. I do.
Yeah, and then the Fields.
I will. The only thing, because I have Downs as a better prospect than Arvell Reese. Like I said, I'm lower than most than Arvell Reese, but I didn't necessarily have a problem with them selecting him, particularly what he can do at the second level. They were terrible against the run. You know, he's developing as a pass rusher. Definitely shows that ability and flashes that ability But the Maui Noah pick, whether it be Maui Noah, Vega, that to me is about Jackson Dart at the end of the day. That's about the quarterback position, right? Offensive line, for my purposes, the most important position group. And then, of course, the most important single position being the quarterback. But to your point, Downs was 1A, 1B for me in terms of prospects. So any team that drafted in the top 10, I effectively outside of the Raiders, missed. You could say you can make
fair.
that particular argument. So
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. It's a good Giants discussion. I liked it. All right, we've got back to back here on the snake. Start the second round.
I could stay in New York, Jersey. I could stay there with the Jets, but I would miss the opportunity to probably wax about my guy Bane. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Dang it! No, man.
Oh man! So everybody messed up.
Jake, you weren't getting them anyway. So
Okay, well that makes me feel better, I guess. Dang it, man.
Everybody
this
messed
was
up.
number 4 on my board. I'm so upset. I really wanted these guys. Oh, I'm so upset. Oh.
Everybody messed up as far as I'm concerned. Passing on Ruben Bain. Obviously, the arm length conversation, well documented. But I've had the benefit of watching every single Ruben Bain game, not just as a fan, obviously, but also as a draft analyst. And you're not going to find a more ready pass rusher in this class. You can get into the conversation about ceilings, certainly, but I'm going to back up. I shouldn't say pass rusher, edge player, right? Because he's a monster against the run. I going into this most recent season, the 2025 season, I thought Bain might be better suited as a 3 technique. I actually thought he might be. He was carrying more weight. He was playing at a heftier weight. And his best reps in 2024, albeit he dealt with injury, were when he was working from the inside. So anywhere from 2Y out to perhaps, 7, right? I thought he could make a difference. Early downs, play him at edge, and then obvious passing situations, reduce him down. He'll probably still do that, right? But he gets to work in the offseason. He and Akeem Mesidor get with Jason Taylor. He transforms his body and becomes a wide 9 edge rusher who bends with the best of them. Right. So with that kind of mentality that he possesses, you saw it on draft night, that mentality he possesses, those heavy hands, the ability to bend, I don't think anybody works harder than him at the position. This is an absolute steal, right? And this is the only player that I would probably, outside of obviously Mendoza going to the Raiders, the only player I would have taken over Caleb Downs, the only one. I think Bain's going to be a superstar, right? The short arms be damned. I don't love the Josiah Trotter pick because I'm a bigger CJ Allen fan.
That's
but I certainly understand the pedigree, the physicality. It's an odd man front, inside linebacker. Allen's a little bit smaller, you know what I mean? So I get it from that perspective. There's some concerns. I have some concerns in terms of his recognition, pass coverage, but certainly understand considering the type of scheme that Todd Bowles wants to deploy. I know Ted Hurst is everyone's favorite Group of 5 skill position player.
Yeah.
I really like the tape. It's kind of the inverse of Malachi Fields to a certain degree, right? Really like the tape. Wasn't terribly impressed in Mobile, but I can't throw the tape out. I can't throw the tape out, right? So understand that particular selection. And then you got the slot demon, Keontae Scott, right? When you talk about
what were we doing?
Changing the corresponding mentality of a defense. Miami's defense in 2024 was awful, legitimately awful, despite having an incredibly, explosive offense led by Cam Ward. Keontae Scott, his teammate, we may actually discuss him a bit here. With Jacoby Thomas, he may work his way into this draft with the Vikings. He and Zachariah Poison, they changed the dynamic on that defense, and what he does, particularly coming forward. Of course, previously he was playing on the boundary. He was out of position. There's some concerns in terms of some of the coverage ability, but I think he's certainly going to get better there. I'm not sure how they're going to deploy him because I like some of their slots already. Tyke Smith, you got Jacob Parrish, but can't have enough good defensive backs, right? And I was surprised Scott was there on day 3. And then DeMonte Capart's never played, a full bevy of snaps. He won't be asked to, although considering what Zach had mentioned earlier, with Vita Vea requesting a trade, Capart may be thrown into a bit more duty here sooner than later. So I like the fact that, they added some more teeth to the down line. They've had a bit of a dearth of talent as of late there. And I'm actually pretty impressed with Billy Schroth. I was a little surprised he was available as late as he was as well. He was definitely like a top 120 player for me. So top to bottom, I really like this class. And like I said, Bain was the top prospect in this class. So you could, depending on the day, right? Whether it was Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain Jr. Of course, the Bucks clearly needed more pass rush opposite Yaya Diaby. And like I said, in terms of setting the tone and establishing a culture, you couldn't get a better player than Ruben Bain. They didn't overthink it. And I think that's why the Bucks, have one of the better draft classes.
Yeah. Jason Light continues to be really good at this. There's just there is a little bit of when you look back at the Bucks drafts of the past, several years, you kind of go, yeah, they're kind of the Ravens a little bit of the NFC in some ways of like how they get Wirfs and Winfield in 2020. Not sure how anybody let them do that with Brady coming in. Just ridiculous. And then, as you said, the 2 Miami guys, Hurst. I think Schrouth was an injury thing, if I'm not mistaken, which, boy, you just take advantage of a discount there where you kind of have some maybe a little bit of shakiness on that line with, like, I think Bredesen's maybe lined in to start for them at the moment at left guard. Like, you get competition there. And I think Hurst potentially going to the X, kind of sacrificial X type of thing, allows Ibuka and Godwin to be where they need to be.
Right.
Ibuka off the ball a little bit more at the Z, and then you have Godwin at the slot, and you have Tez as the speed. I just think the receiver room looks so good.
Yeah.
How it's built on top of it.
You give me CJ Allen, and this is the top class.
Well, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I do. I agree.
Yeah, I don't want to overstate this. This is the worst day of my life. I have nothing to say about the draft class. I'm ready to move on. My pick.
He's like, next pick. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I'd like to move on to the team that I still will give a fair grade to, despite the fact that if they would have taken Ruben Bain like I feel like they should have, oh boy. We're going to go with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
As my pick here. Very similarly to the Browns, their first pick might actually be my least favorite of the first 4 in terms of the value of the pick.
Yeah.
So David Bailey at 2, obviously. I really like Kenyon Sadiq. Can't wait to see how they use him as a mismatch. Omar Cooper Jr., and then D'Angelo Ponce, who I'm a big fan of as well. Cade Klubnik is Cade Klubnik. But one of my favorite day 3
Gosh,
picks,
put that
BJ
in the
Payne.
quote list right there. I'm gonna clip that thing right there.
Cade Klubnik is Cade Klubnik. Yes, that's a good point.
What's crazy is literally 3 straight picks there for them. Cooper Jr., Pons, Darrell Jackson Jr. were all guys heavily mocked to the Steelers. Like, this could have very easily been a Steelers mock draft here for rounds 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
With their last first round pick, their second round pick, and their fourth round pick there.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I like VJ Payne a lot as a day 3 pick.
Yeah. It's a nice one. Listen, if Pons had gone 2 picks later, I'd feel a lot better about
I love Pons.
about my fandom at the moment. But it's fine, It is what
Would
it
they
is.
have done that? Like, say he was even on the board there?
Probably not. We don't have to go there. We don't have to go there. No, this is a good pick. I like it. I do wonder about Jackson and just the pad level of, like, how do we reconcile that with where they're probably going to align him quite a bit? Like, but I get it. He still finds ways, which is impressive.
He finds ways at FSU.
Yes, It felt like there were, like, guys, and I mentioned this with, of course, my favorite team as well. like a broken record. It just feels like the DT class was weirdly ranked by the teams. Like I feel like there's a certain team who got a DT like late that kind of is pretty close to a lot of these guys who go to the 70s, 80s, 100s. Like it just felt like if you didn't get one of the like couple at the top, and again, even Woods, it was still kind of, he was, he took some some pretty big hits, once we worked through the draft process. But yeah, I think that was probably the weirdest one. Like I get it with Bailey. I understand. Go get the, missile, the heater, get up the field. That's totally understandable. I feel like Sadiq and Cooper are like playing the same position in this offense, potentially, which is interesting. Like again, maybe that's an Adonai Mitchell homerism take. I don't know. Perhaps that could be. But it seems like where Cooper did a ton of damage at Indiana last year and what Sadiq was kind of asked to do with Oregon feel a little bit similar. And I'm kind of like, all right, so how are we getting all these guys on the field? Is everybody going to feel natural if, Cooper goes back outside, which I think he did fine the year before at Indiana when he was doing that. But that was interesting to me. And as kind of Juice mentioned, Bailey versus Bain, it's going to be hard to fault them at the top there. But I think I remember Juice and I were talking about this on the Friday. I was like, the Jets were a little confusing at times with what the moves were here, just because of the kind of, we talked about with the Eagles too about some redundancies, and it just felt like, okay, yeah. How do they view Cooper, right? Do they, Bailey ahead of, a lot of the guys we've talked about, right? It was just kind of like, I get it in some ways. I'm not like fully,
It just seems to me like, and we talked about it previously, Jake. It seems like they're trying to replicate Aaron Glenn, that is Aiden Hutchinson to some degree.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. Some of the question marks around Hutchinson. Certainly there's a couple there with it. I won't say it's an apples to apples comparison, but certainly I think there's some of the same question marks there. But that kind of is my opinion on why they went that direction. As Smitty said, Bain's a better football player. You know what I mean? And, go ahead, Smitty.
I was going to say, just the reason that I went with that, this isn't like to say that I think that they did the most they could have done with these picks. Just, I feel like this is a good showing of the exercise here when you have 3 picks in the top 30, 4 in the top 50.
Should probably pick
and with
this team,
what our exercise is.
Sure.
Yeah, trying to like predict
team,
it. Yeah. Sure. So
no, that's fair. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Marcus, any thoughts on the Jets?
Yeah, I think with Sadiq, Sadiq could play a little bit more in line. Because I don't think I think he blocked pretty well, like for a tight end. I mean, not every tight end is going to be like, who's the guy with the Jags? I forgot his name. Dude,
did they just drafted?
Yeah, Burke Richard. Yeah. Now he's going to be like him, like it's a blocker. But I think for how Sadiq catches the football and he can mix it in with the blocking, I think he's a pretty good blocker. So I think you can play him in line. So you kind of mix it up there. And of course, I love Omar Cooper and Pons. I think those are some great picks. Of course, I am really low on Daryl Jackson Jr. Me and my boy Matt, who does D-line for Bleacher Report, we argue over that because he likes him. I'm not a big fan. I just didn't see it on film, like anything he really did to excite me. Yeah. Like it was just, was there some plays? I was like, I don't know. I don't see it. But, it's all right pick there for me. But, I like the Sadiq and Cooper picks and the Pons. I think, David Bailey is going to be interesting type of guy because, to me, when it comes to rushing the passer, I think bend is very important, right? And when it comes to getting a lot of sacks, you know what I mean? Like that's you could play, you can be a 10-sack guy with some pretty good bend, but like to be that 15 to 17 or that 12 to 15 consistently, you have to have the athleticism that comes with it. And I don't know if David Bailey truly has that. And now that's my thing with taking him at 2. And, Ruben Bain does, even at his size. Bain has that, right? You can feel that. Like, Bain understands his size too, and he's going to find a way to win to do that. But I like the Sadiq, Cooper, and Pons picks. That's just those 3 picks in a row kind of put this draft a little ahead for me too.
Yes.
Where'd you have Jackson? Where'd you have Jackson?
Sorry?
I'm just curious. Where'd you have Daryl Jackson? Because there seemed to be some he seems to be polarizing prospect, right? There are people who thought he was a top 60, top 50 prospect. Marcus mentioned he was lower on him. I'm certainly lower on him. I got a good look at him in Miami as well before he transferred to FSU. He looks the part. He absolutely looks the part, right?
Yeah,
like
I was lower on him too.
Yeah. Okay.
The only reason that I brought him up for the Steelers specifically was there was a lot of buzz that they liked him, and they've been doing this thing even with. And granted, it's not much of an investment that they put in YA Black, but like guys that have bad pad levels and just thinking that they can fix them. So I don't know if that was playing into the interest there or what, but yeah, I didn't see, like Marcus said, I didn't see anything when watching him that made him jump out because he was getting like potential round 2 buzz. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is the reason why I think him going early 4th round is reasonable.
That's fair.
Right. If you're betting on those traits, that to me is reasonable at that point. Any earlier than that, day 2, I didn't see a day 2 prospect. So
this is a very niche question. Do we know who the Jets defensive line coach is?
Do you know?
No.
Because
just wondering if they have any type of history. No. The reason I asked was I didn't know if they had a history at all with developing like this type of player, like pad level issues.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That was a deep football question because I was like, man.
Well, so the reason that I asked was I mentioned YA Black and the Steelers defensive line coach. They just brought him in, obviously with McCarthy coming in and them redoing the entire staff is Damato Pico, the former Cincinnati Bengal, who made an entire career off basically his pad level. Like he even had like a 20-minute interview where he said if he didn't fix his pad level, he wouldn't have been an NFL player. So like that's his calling card is fixing that. So I just wonder, again, going back to the point of interest with him, if that's why they were interested. I didn't know if the Jets kind of had a guy like that as well.
Smitty, you were on to something. It's Carl Dunbar.
Oh, that's right. The Steelers defensive line coach from the previous regime. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's why I thought you knew, because I was like,
no.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, that's interesting then. No,
I'm an idiot. I should have known. I should have known that. Yeah,
that's not true.
Yeah, I can fix some coaches. I love those guys. Give them to me. I got them.
I'm trying to
see those arms.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting if the Jets go like the Bills route of like Deion Walker last year, where it was just like, no, nose tackle. We can't do this. Like he's not out of the stance in time. Like we're everything feels out of position. They moved him to an attacking role, and it was like okay. And so maybe that's what they're thinking here.
Are we doing an equivalency? I don't think this is the case. I'm just going to ask it for posterity. Are we doing an equivalency between Deion Walker and Darrell Jackson? Because I will fight you, Jake.
No. I'm trying to think of like recency with some of these D tackles who like pad level, big,
yes.
But I think Smitty's
Walker
example might be a better
injuries. Walker has a back situation, and obviously he's 6'7" too. So but he had a back situation, which I think kind of contributed to some of that. But the Bills figured it out. Yeah, seemingly.
Dude, it seems like it.
Carl Dunbar is a good defensive line coach, though. Too. I don't.
Well, it sounds like great news for Bailey and Jackson. Because I think to Marcus's point, like with Bailey, speed without flexibility. To me is like just a smidge concerning because it feels like then it turns into a snap timing game.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, teams will be like, all right, well, he's just guessing our snap. We're going to mix this all up. And then I don't know if he's going to give us the same issues that he would be giving us type of thing. But yeah, that was a fun discussion of the Jets. I guess it's me then. Marcus, I hate to do this to you. But I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you have them. I'm not gonna let you have them. This is way too good of a draft. I can't let this thing fall to 8. I'm taking the Raiders with my second pick here. Yeah, I mean, just up and down this board. My goodness, do I feel like they're gonna have some dudes? I mean, you highlight Fernando Mendoza off the rip, of course. Could be the franchise changer in Vegas. I think immediately you go to pick 101, Jermon McCoy to start day 3. Like, man, if he can play, everybody that's on everybody. That's on everybody.
He's
if he plays, it's ridiculous. It's an even worse version of the Will Johnson stuff who had a really nice year in Arizona. I'm like, we let this guy who was you know, we were talking at the top of mock drafts, with the first overall pick for Marcus picked the Chiefs of like, hey, at 9, are they going to get McCoy? Are they going to get, or are they going to get delayed? And it's like, no, actually the Raiders will take him at 101. Traden Stukes, oh my gosh, playmaker,
favorite player in the class.
Great processor. Just love what we see at safety and at slot corner. Kieran Crawford, I think, is really technically proficient rushing the passer as well. Not the greatest athlete on planet Earth, but we've seen guys who don't test extremely well, who have the plan and have the hands and have enough flexibility and a plan of attack to succeed in this league, especially the third. Trey Zoom could play a bunch of different spots. They doubled down in Arizona with Dalton Johnson, who I think not a lot of people talked about. There was just a lot of discussion about Stukes. Fair enough. There was a lot of discussion about Genesis Smith because some of the range. But Dalton Johnson's no slouch either. And then Hezekiah Massis. I mean, man, dog, around the football, just all of those things where it's like, I love what they've done here. The secondary could be looking really, really nice in the coming seasons for them. And, again, Mike Washington was a down running back class. There was a lot of talk about Washington being top 60 pick, and then, they get him at 122. I could live with that one. Malik Benson's got some speed. And they rounded out with Brandon Cleveland. Again, just, that I feel like a much more reasonable idea of taking swings at defensive tackle later in the draft rather than trying to reach up the board for a lot of these guys. I just think top to bottom, this is one of my favorites. I was hoping this or Tampa Bay got back to me, and I will. I love my start. I love my start.
I love this draft. I was trying not to be a homer here with this. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was actually gonna wait and take him in the next. When I did the snake, I was trying not to be a homer. I was gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna wait. Because
you were definitely taking him first. I really did. I was like, I thought about it,
but I was like, you know what? This is too homer for me. So, but yeah, I love this draft, man. The more I dive into it, I think Dalton Johnson and Massis in the 5th round. I just think, Johnson's just kind of fell through the cracks between Smith and Stukes, but I think Johnson, he tackles better than Smith. Definitely, that's a for sure thing. Even though he's not the greatest tackle in the world, but it's better than Smith, and I think that he does a good job.
Can we say his first name? Because I feel like you're talking about
Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah, Smitty just don't like how he tackles, man. I don't know.
Genesis Smith.
Yeah.
Who? So I really liked Dalton Johnson too. Of course, McCoy is the real one. Yeah. If he. They're saying that he's healthy and he's ready to go. And, Darian Porter is supposed to be the starter right now, but I don't know if that's really going to happen if McCoy is going to be that guy. I think McCoy is going to be the starter because, honestly, Hezekiah Massis in OTAs in minicamp was already taking Porter snaps. So that kind of tells you where Porter's starting to fall, right? Hezekiah Massis is already starting to eat up into those snaps already. They're sharing first team snaps. So if McCoy gets out there, it might be like McCoy, Massis, and Eric Stokes out there. The only pick that I wasn't the biggest fan of was Trey Zoom because Zoom, to me, he's just a tackle with short arms, and then when you move him inside, there's that play strength there, right? Can he move guys? He wasn't really sometimes like an inside zone. He would take too long on combo blocks and things like that. It's a little bit of a project inside. That was the only one that, I thought they reached a little bit on that one. But, when they got McCoy and they got Mike Washington, I think they made up for it. But, going with Doza and then trade on Stukes, who they were really high on, and I love Stukes. Stukes is just intelligent, man. He knows everything that's happening on the field. He's going to be on the field week 1. I mean, that's going to be a thing for him. I think he's going to play a lot more free safety this year. That's why they have Taron Johnson. But, man, I love this draft, man. It's probably one of the best Raiders drafts I've seen. And
that was going to be my question about what do you think, how they're going to deploy with after trading, if I'm not mistaken, they traded to acquire Taron Johnson. So, okay. Stukes kind of playing more of a traditional safety position, at least in 2026.
Exactly. Yeah. He's gonna be playing more of that, right? And then they'll probably move him around kind of based on matchup because they have Jeremy Chin too, because Chin is still playing and he's a box safety. I think he Stooks allows Chin to play where he needs to play. And then as it goes along, what I'm hoping for is like 2027, 2028, it's Stooks and Johnson back there. That's kind of how my hope. That's what my vision is for that team. So I hope that ends up being it because Chin he has 1 year in that contract. So if that ends up happening that way, that's why I went back there. But yeah, I'm a huge fan because Hezekiah Masters, I had a 3rd round grade on him, and they got him in the 5th. Man,
I like Masters a lot too. Jake, you said something that kind of caught my attention regarding Crawford and kind of his technical acumen. If I'm not mistaken, Crawford only played like 1 year of high school ball.
Yeah.
Right.
He might have been on Fennell's. Yeah, he might have been on Fennell's like all, not a ton of snaps team. I don't remember if he was on there or not, but yeah, I thought like the separation between him and his teammate was pretty wide. Like this was a player that I was like kind of like, okay, you want to do this at 52, Brian, you could do this. I'm okay with this one. Like we can go there at 52 and that might be all right. Like I feel like this is just exactly the type of, I just feel like Crosby's going to love what he brings. I really do. I really think I'm excited. He might, after obviously again, the 3 main ones that we've talked about, like outside of those 3, I think he is easily next. I'm just like, wow, they just keep, and it's not surprising. I know it was kind of like, oh no, Spytek's not very good at this type of thing after the kind of the disaster dumpster fire thing that was last year. He's coming from the tree that I just consistently love their drafts. I think it's they go about it the right way in Tampa. He comes over from there. I just think he has a really good eye for this, and I think it's going to manifest probably in this class, and then hopefully when the structure is put together, that Genty starts to just absolutely light things up because of it. All right, we got the snake.
All right, am I up, right?
Yes, 2 picks.
All right, so for this one, I'm gonna go Indy. I'm gonna go Indianapolis here with the Colts
I
here.
really thought they were gonna make it all the way back to me.
They were not.
Just because I really like this draft and just where they started, just grabbing all of these guys. I mean, going from CJ Allen to Halsey. I thought CJ Allen got killed in the draft process for some reason. I never really understood that. I thought his film was way better than what people gave him credit for. Is people started knocking his athleticism a little bit. I thought that was a little weird when we got into that, and especially like he has that one play against Florida where he like jumps like 50 feet in the air and makes an interception. Like I don't know what they saw from that, but I think he's just a natural 2026 modern linebacker. I think he can play a little bit of coverage. He can play against a run. It's just a good player. Like I really liked him. Coach Halsey. I think Halsey's the safety that can. He's definitely a box safety for sure. But I think he could be that versatility can be there, right? You kind of want him not trying to make tackles in space. I think he's got to get better at not trying to take everybody's head off. And kind of just breaking down a little bit, but I think he's got great ball skills. I mean, when you play safety and you have ball skills like that, man, that's somebody who can come out there and make plays. He causes fumbles, interceptions, does a great job of reading things, understanding concepts in front of him. So I really like that one. I like Jalen Farmer too. I was a big Jalen Farmer fan. As a guard, I thought that Kentucky offensive line was pretty good, and I thought he was one of those better players there. The 7th round picks are my favorite because I know Seth McGowan, has a lot of the off the field issues, but his film is great to me. I thought he saw the field well, great vision, great burst, runs hard. He just you can see he just runs with anger, and I really like that. And I think he had great vision. He's great fit for what they like to do in Indy in that run game. And then Deion Burks, I thought, I think he came into 2025 with a little bit higher buzz, but I think he still has those factors, and he could be that guy that can be a little bit of a gadget, but can kind of maybe grow into a better slot receiver. So I really like this draft overall. Even Bryce Betcher and some of these other guys, I really like this draft overall and what they like to do over here.
Chris Ballard might be at it again. You might be at it again with this.
I'm not going to go that far.
And by
I will say,
again,
especially the benefit of not having a 1st round pick too. within this. It's pretty.
Yeah, what's
to
this
screw
with
it up?
some of these teams getting gifts in the second round with not first round picks, and then you got a couple others who didn't get gifts, which was unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Juice is right. It's a good thing he didn't have a first round pick. Who knows what that would have been?
You're right. You're right. When I said Chris Ballard's at it again, I mean we're drafting pretty well, but then the QB, I don't know what we're cycling at QB. I'm fascinated to find out what's going to happen this year with Daniel Jones off an Achilles, and then where else we go. Are we gonna is Bryce Young going to enter the mix? We're going to have the same Kyler conversations, all of this that we do with Cleveland. But Caden Curry, another one of those. Oh, short arms. Why can't he'll get after it. I really like that later for them. And obviously, as Marcus, we talked about Halsey at length of he's probably not a post safety, but why is LSU putting him at post safety? Because he sees it better than everybody else who's trying to play post safety out there for LSU at the moment, right? Because he just sees it feel better. And it's I don't know how much of the process, how fast he could be process wise to completely cover up everything, but in a pinch for Indy, if they need it, sure. And then CJ Allen, I remember him covering a wheel route from Oppo Hash. It's what are we talking about with the athleticism thing? It's crazy. When he runs through, as kind of the backside defender, it's outrageous. Yes, he's wrong, for sure. There are times where he's wrong. There are times where all these linebackers are wrong. It's a hard position to play. Man, but when he's right, he's a tone setter. He'll jaw at people. He's just exactly the type of linebacker I want on my team, especially if I can't get the Ohio State guys. And I love it.
I remember studying Jalen Walker in 2024, and everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but lots of people talked about Mondone. Mondone being the other off-ball linebacker, but Allen is the one who kept flashing. And to get a day one green dot, 53rd overall, when you had several, and this was a very good class for off-ball linebackers. I don't want to necessarily take away from anyone else, but I'm a huge CJ Allen fan. To me, he's a first round pick. I thought he was a first round pick. He doesn't go in the first round because he didn't necessarily have the testing numbers. It didn't have testing numbers. Of course, there's always a premium on that athletic profile when you talk about the first 32 selections. But hard pressed to find a better linebacker and kind of leader of your defense in this class among some really good off-ball linebackers. So that in of itself to me was huge, getting that kind of value in Allen. And then of course Halsey Farmer made a ton of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people also thought Allen might be the second Dallas pick in the first.
Yeah,
there was a lot of that thought of that's a it's a genuine possibility. So, big ups to.
I thought they were going to go Jacob Rodriguez. That was my mock. I would have rather have had Allen, but yeah,
sure. And it turns out Rodriguez does go before Allen, as it turns out, and Trotter, who we did mention. Yeah.
Will we be talking about him soon? Find out. Jake,
wish we had an ad break to go to right there, but I don't think so.
Hour in, by the way, through 2 rounds.
It's pretty good. We'll take that. We take those. I thought it was gonna be longer. I don't know what you mean.
Jake said, "This is good time, right? Good time, actually."
Yeah. I think we're actually on pretty good.
I was expecting to be 11 p.m. by now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm up next again, huh?
You are, yes.
All right. No, I'm gonna go New Orleans here. I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Man,
strong.
Dang it.
Just because I'm from Arizona too, so I'm a big ASU guy, and when the Raiders traded for Max Crosby, I had dreams of Jordan Tyson becoming a Raider, but of course that got taken away from me at that same time. But the Saints ended up taking him. And I just think Jordan Tyson. I think he got killed a little bit in the draft process too, a little bit just because the injuries and his toughness and all the thing. Even though he had 11 catches against Texas Tech when he got injured, but whatever. I think some of those things are just a little overblown. But I think the injury history it's concerning, but I just really like that player. He runs routes really well, catches the football. He reminds me of Drake London a lot, so I really liked him. I was really huge on Christian Miller too. Definitely somebody I wanted the Raiders to target for a defensive tackle too. So big on him. I think he has pass rush upside that hasn't been tapped into. I think a lot of the guys at Georgia on the defensive line, they're asked to do one thing and they have to do it this way. And if you don't do it this way, you're not going to be playing for me. So and I think in the playoff game is where you actually saw him kind of let loose a little bit. You saw him rush the passer. You saw a little bit of some bend he has at 310 pounds where he can get to the quarterback a little bit and get some pressure. So I think there's some untapped pass rushing skill from him. And of course, I really like Jeremiah Wright. Jeremiah Wright is a dog. I think he just runs people over, and he's just a dog at the guard position. I think he stands out, pancakes everywhere. I think he worked great with the center, Connor Liu too. I think they worked great together. They saw stunts very well together. I think it's a great pick. Bryce Lance is another one that I was really high on. Bryce Lance. I think Lance got used in two different ways. I think as a junior, he got used as a possession guy. And then this past year with a different quarterback got used as a deep threat. And I think that kind of shows that he can probably become both at the next level, depending on how you want to use him, and just shows his versatility. Like, so he might get labeled as a big play guy coming into the year. But I think when you go back and watch his junior film, when he had a quarterback that couldn't throw past 20 yards, he was that guy who could be that possession guy as well. So I was a big fan of this draft. Even Barry and Brown, I thought Barry and Brown had a great Senior Bowl. That's kind of the reason why he got drafted was his Senior Bowl performance. And, of course, Lorenzo Styles is a great player from Ohio State. And, of course, Oscar Delp, too, is a good tight end who I think is probably one of the better receiving tight ends in this draft, too. So I think they really stacked everything up to, have Shook have some weapons around him to make sure that they can maximize him, too. I think that was the whole goal of this draft was, Shook played pretty well. I mean, he played better than they probably thought that he was going to play, and probably played better than I thought he was going to play year one. And just, way he handled pressure and things like that. So they really decided they were going to build around him. And I think they had a good focus, and they got some good wide receivers in there too.
Yeah.
And even
the
their
first
last
three.
pick, TJ Hall, you don't see corners that it's sad that it's few and far between that are willing to commit to defending the run the way that he does. Don't know if it's an Iowa thing, but I think he had some moments too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
No, you're good. I think the first three are just, I think what sells me completely on this one. Like, just, to get Tyson there. I mean, kind of where many thought he was going to go. As long as the injury stuff doesn't consistently bother him, he's going to be a massive factor. I think, again, this year, up tempo, offense that I think, that they want to run down there, right, with Kellen Moore. I think he's going to be in the slot a ton, get a bunch of easy wins, and just rack up yardage all season long. Marcus mentioned it, Christian Miller. Yeah, just super. I think he probably has the best mind, best process of the DTs right now, even as a young guy. I just feel like he is really on top of things, and I love Oscar Delp. Big fan. Guy who can block at times, and who's got some serious burst at the position. That's, I think, going to be welcomed.
Yeah, I thought Marcus's evaluation on Christian Miller was spot on. I love Christian Miller's game. And now, you get to drop him in with an ascending Brian Brzee. This class actually had basically juxtaposed against the Bucks class. Like, I'm a big fan of this class, top to bottom as well. This was impressive. They have a few of them there in the NFC South.
Yeah, I think the NFC South did well. Oh, man. Okay. Colts and Saints were my tier break. So now it's just I have to pick something that I want a little bit less, which is unfortunate. Oh, man.
Don't. You seem unsure.
Smitty, I
am.
am.
You don't know exactly what team. Okay, all right.
I am actually, because there's about 3 teams that I'm. Okay, I got to do it. I'm gonna do it. I think for this guy, I don't know if it's the best one they've done. I may regret this. We'll see. But I don't think I'll regret having Venga Ioane and Elijah Surratt on this board here. We're not going to talk about the pick that the owner made. We'll leave that one alone. Zion Young's interesting in round 2. Again, Venga Ioane at 1. Like that's.
Oh, we're talking about the Ravens, not the Browns. Sorry.
We were talking about the.
You
Ravens,
mentioned the owner
yes.
pick, yeah.
I was like, who's the owner pick? I'm just
Adam Randall. Adam Randall was the owner
Yeah,
pick.
yeah.
Bishotti asked, like, can I make a selection? He said, and they were like, yeah, go ahead. And he picked Adam Randall. So, he's like, oh, that guy's kind of big like Derrick Henry. He's a little taller. I like that. I don't know. Weird. So yeah, this might come back to bite me on this one in the 3rd round. We'll see. This might have been a panic selection, a little bit of simping for DaCosta in the Ravens process. But I think Venga Ioane is potentially an All-Pro in 27. I think he's going to be that good. I just feel like you don't see guys as polished, as sound. Like he gets, when he drops anchor, it's bending the knees, it's straightening the back, it's great punch timing, it's great extension. You go, okay, well, he's just kind of a power guy, finish, right, move guys a little bit, like, reset the line of scrimmage. And then you watch him on a couple of reach blocks where he knows he has to get to the outside shoulder of some guys, and he does it. And it just looks like he's teleporting at that size. Couldn't leave it on the board with a player like him. And then, as I mentioned, Surratt, I think in the slot, I think with Declan Doyle running things, I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities there. He might be the jump ball, catch point guy that they've been trying over and over. Des Bryant, Hopkins, let's bring in all these vets who can kind of help us in that spot, and then to kind of go get a younger guy who can do it, I think will be beneficial. Jacoby Lane, I think, has some stuff to work out with, like, kind of putting together his kind of tempo and plan of attack that I just don't think is quite there right now. But again, another guy who can play pretty well above the rim on the sideline with a little bit of burst as well. I think Hibner's going to have something to say in this offense, potentially as a rookie, which is interesting. Chandler Rivers, undersized guy, but again, in that kind of masses and in that kind of grouping of guys where it's like, yeah, they're a little smaller, but they can ball. And then to me, Rashawn Benny in the 7th also, just fantastic. That's exactly what I'm looking for. The Zion Young pick, a little tricky. I probably wouldn't have gone that direction necessarily if I was going edge, but you kind of go with those bigger, longer, stronger guys who I think, he just needs to get off the ball quicker, plain and simple. If he gets off the ball quicker, I think he's going to have, a potentially productive career. They need it. This is kind of put up or shut up time for the Ravens trying to find pass rushers in the draft. It has not gone well. So I think that's kind of going to be, I think, potentially really what could tilt this draft class into like a really, really important one if they are able to reach the mountaintop at all, in Lamar Jackson's career. I think Zion Young's going to be very important to that. So I don't think it's my favorite thing the Ravens have done, but I still think they picked off value across the board. They got they did exactly these guys in Philly. They loved, stacking picks on day 3. Let's just take a bunch of swings when everybody has all this info. Love that process. And they get, I think, 2 of my favorites with Ioane and Surratt with their first 4.
No punter analysis.
No, I don't got anything on that one. They probably saw Michigan State punt a lot, though. So that's probably, they probably got a lot of looks at Eckley to see if he's the guy.
But how much
out
mileage does he have left in that leg because of
that? Torrey Taylor seems to still have some after punting, for eons at Iowa. So hopefully, Eckley's kind of the same way.
That's fair.
So the Ravens pretty much do what the Ravens do on day 3.
Yeah.
Surratt, Rivers. I actually like what I saw from Cuevas and Mobile. And then Benny. I think Benny could have went a full 3 rounds earlier. So, yeah, it's kind of par for the course. To your point, Jay, it's going to come down to, those day 2 edge rushers. Mike Green, now Zion Young. Although I do think Young is ascending. I think what we saw this past season, and he kind of carried it throughout the pre-draft process. You see a guy that's getting better, starting to kind of figure it out. But they need him to be impactful sooner rather than later. The window is closing. Rivers, to your point, I love Chandler Rivers. I think Rivers can play outside on the boundary, but they're not going to play him there. You know, being smaller, they're not going to play him. But he has the ability to play on the boundary.
Don't think Minter's going to give him a chance? Minter might be like, hey, I don't have anybody else.
Right.
Could be that type of a situation. I was like, I don't know.
Right.
He might have to be the best guy, but I get what you're saying there for sure. So
I'm up, correct?
you are.
You are up. This pick comes down to really just the fits of these players more than anything else. And I think that they got the perfect players to drop into what they've already been building. I'm going to go with the Texans.
Okay.
I don't know that I love Keelan Rutledge at 26. I think he's a good player. Don't know if I would have done that, but I love Caden McDonald with what they already have defensively too. I think he's the perfect player for bringing that whole thing together as if they need to get better on that side of the football. Don't love that they fell into the Jaguars tight end conundrum thing that they had going on there.
Listen, everybody started doing it.
Yeah. It became a trend for the entire league, but didn't love that pick. But I actually really like Kamari Ramsey, and I like Aiden Fisher. Aiden Fisher might get there and just immediately break his nose to be the new Brian Cushing. Mm-hmm. So he has very psychopath vibes, which I think you got to have every once in a while in the room.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Rutledge McDonald picks switched. I might have a different feeling about it. I think for me, and I agree, we talked about it ad nauseum, Jake, during the draft or post-draft, the tight end run. But they missed out on one pick on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Oh, yeah.
And that would have been perfect for that secondary. Perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
They missed it by one selection. So I don't know if that was a panic move. Although, you know, we talked about the utility of the tight end position, you know, how they're deployed in so many different ways. But I think you get McNeil-Warren and we probably this draft class probably comes off the board maybe a full round earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do really think like I really don't want to be too hard on the Texans. They needed offensive line, defensive line. But yeah, I feel like they I think Nwaiwu from Oklahoma, like if they're gonna be, you know, if he's the quicks, the athleticism that he puts together might work. Ramsey, weird down year in 25 versus 24, that could bounce back, and then Fisher. I feel like I liked a lot of what they did on day 3 that kind of rounded this thing out. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I don't want to pivot off of this. Let's go on the video, but I want to see if. Yeah, okay, they did have a chance to get Christian Miller. So that also is kind of something where I'm like, okay, I understand that they went, okay, this is more the bigger nose, like than Miller, and we've got the Rankinses and the guys like that, and everybody can go hunt the QB while we sit with this guy in the middle. And yeah, Rutledge, it felt maybe a little more forced. I understand that they feel set at tackle and they didn't want to take Lomu and do all that stuff, but it feels like I don't know if they're going to be any better on the offensive line this year necessarily, because Rutledge, I think they talked about him playing center, and so he's going to move there, and then, you know.
Really?
I think there was some.
Isn't the guy out of Oklahoma supposed to play center?
Potentially. I think they were. I remember them talking about it on a weekend.
Backtrack. I'm taking this off my board.
I think the Texans panicked with Rutledge.
There was a lot of. I remember hearing this a lot. Hold on. I just want to.
If this man ain't playing guard, this changes my entire view.
I really thought that this was like something that they were talking about post draft of like, oh, there's a chance we go this route for him. It just depends on how everything shakes out on the offensive line, but maybe,
I think
it might
the
not
NFL
happen.
was probably higher on Rutledge than the front offices, higher on Rutledge than, you know, the likes of us. That's what I think, and I think the Texans probably got wind of that and decided, you know what, we don't want to take the chance. We're trying to fix this offensive line. We may not necessarily be doing a great job of it, but we're trying.
Yeah. It does seem like I'm seeing tweets about these like learning center, and
Yeah.
He may not start there though, Smitty. He may not start there. He may start a guard, and that might be a long term thing. You never know.
But would it?
We are taking the Miami Dolphins.
Oh man. No. I think this is good for day 3 stuff, especially. Though.
Is it a best 5?
Could be
playing him at center.
Could be.
Yeah.
Get your best 5 on the field.
I don't remember him playing center at the Senior Bowl. Did I miss that?
He did take some reps there. He did.
I just remember he never smiled once at the Senior Bowl, like during any press conference. He was just like the meanest guy I've ever seen in my life.
They told him he was going to play center.
I guess so. He's probably pissed. He came back from the meeting. He's just mad.
That's funny. He's like, what's going on, man? It's like all these teams told me I have to play.
He's trying to enjoy the media
Super
breakfast, and he just found out he's playing a new position.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, they don't even. I wonder if he found that out. Yeah, the week after Houston drafts him, they're like, wait, he's reading this stuff next week. He's like, wait, what do they ask me to do? No, but I think Smitty, this draft has a nice through line of like start and finish with like two of the meanest dudes out there. It doesn't on the field. Two of the meanest guys out there, Rutledge and Fisher.
You don't try to make me feel better now.
No, I think you're fine. I think this is totally fine.
I do want to talk about Katie McDonald. I think they took Katie McDonald because what they really struggled at last year was stopping the run.
This is true.
They did, and they needed that guy because they could rush the pass. They could do all those things. They needed that one guy that could stop the run for them, and I think that's why they went with McDonald.
It's very fair. Yeah, it's about as perfect a compliment to Rankins as you can probably find.
Yeah,
if you're gonna do this early, right? Which Smitty, it's a good pick.
Smitty, I got you, man. I got you. The Dolphins will be there for you. I got you. All right.
Okay. All right.
They'll be there for you.
I think this is collusion here, Marcus. They're colluding against us here. I don't love this. I don't like this, but all right, that's okay. We'll have to fight through some adversity here. All right, Juice. What do we have on the stake? Your last two picks.
I like the Panthers. I like the Panthers class.
Yeah, I knew that was coming off the board before I picked again. Yeah. I knew that was going to happen.
You know, the wild card obviously being Caleb Banks, their first selection, right? Or excuse me, I'm giving away my follow-up pick.
Well, there you go. Okay.
I might have to.
Might be a second NFC team code off the board here, the snake. I'm not sure. We will follow this story.
I might have to pivot. But
okay.
You know, obviously Freeland was kind of the darling of the pre-draft process. Made that push late in the season. Got better throughout the season. One of those, few pure left tackles. Thinking ahead. Icky's coming off the injury. I like what they did. They got your guy. His name's escaping me from Green Bay, Walker. On a 1-year deal.
So
So they kind of have the stopgap measure, and then of course Taylor Moton's getting a little bit longer in the tooth. So you want to make sure that again the most important position group is situated. So not mad at that particular selection at all. Lee Hunter obviously put things together. Of course he needs to get that second foot down, keep his pass squared a little bit more consistently. But I think he's a top 50 prospect for sure.
Yeah.
Right, give Derek Brown some more help up front. It sucks that Nick Scorton is hurt. I was expecting him to take a fairly significant leap this season, but unfortunately he got injured. But Chris Brazzell, he kind of demonstrated a little bit more than what you typically expect, what you've come to expect of those Tennessee wideouts with those really wide splits. He showed a little bit more nuance in terms of getting in and out of his breaks and the route tree when given the opportunity. So I like that selection. You put my guy from South Carolina, his name's escaping me, on notice. Yes. Put him on notice because he hasn't necessarily lived up to the billing. Of course, you got McMillan, you have Coker there. So Brazzell will push, I think, for that third spot. Of course, you got what's his name from Colorado there too. So
Jimmy Horn.
Horn. I think they've kind of round out that receiving room fairly well. You get Jatavian Sanders back, you get Brooks back. I like the young pieces that they have. Will Lee kind of fits the mold of the larger, bigger corner that they had. Of course, Horn and Jackson were terrific last year. I expect Jackson to get paid handsomely next offseason. So Will Lee could potentially, although I felt like he just never really put it all together. The flashes were there, but never really put it all together. So hopefully NFL coaching can take the next step. And then Sam Heck, he and Connor Lew, kind of battling out for the top interior, center prospect in the class. I think he comes at great value. He really competed. Didn't win every rep, obviously, in Mobile, but really competed. He's a good football player. I love Zakee Wheatley's range, his recognition ability. He's one of the safeties that I really liked in this particular class. So, yeah, top to bottom, I thought Carolina had a very strong class, and I actually think they did a pretty good job, if memory serves me correctly, in terms of undrafted free agents as well. So, yeah, I like the Panthers draft class quite a bit. Like I said, 3 of those 4 teams in the NFC South did a really good job.
Yeah, no complaints. I think with Moton, with the blood clots in the lung stuff, Freeling might have to be accelerated a little bit, which I don't know. I mean, reps aren't the worst thing. He's gonna get them all camp now in preseason, which is helpful. With Jan Hunter, yeah, Brazel, even as good as he was on some of the outbreaking stuff, because he could drop the weight and get in out of breaks really nicely. But him as the deep threat, it gives McMillan all the chance in the world to win on all of the intermediate routes that he did last year. And you have Coker. This is, and yeah, as you said, a guy who's fighting for center one, going 144th. Did anyone let the Texans know they could have gotten a center later in the draft? I don't know, but
we missed that one.
We missed that. I wasn't.
Nick Casario was too busy being on the Pat McAfee show.
Well, Casario was probably, as a guy who was with the Patriots, he was taking the day off with Vrabel on day 3. I think, perhaps that was in the cards. Console is his friend, somebody knows who can say. But no, I think
bigger than the program.
I do think if Brazel hits though, that's, oh my gosh, what a receiver room for Bryce Young or whoever the next QB is. I don't know what the plan is.
And he doesn't have to be the guy, like you said. He's going to do all your clear out stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he's a bit more than that. He offers a little bit more than that. So it's a nice landing spot for him for sure.
And Kuwach too. I mean, for by way of Ohio, I know that's not a name that probably jumps out. There were so many linebackers in this class that that were worth talking about, but I think even circling that, I think is good. This is what I was choosing between when I picked Baltimore. This was the other team I was like, I really like what they put together.
Houston wasn't on your mind?
They were on the list for the 4th. They were on the list for the 4th for sure.
Okay, all right.
So, Marcus, anything on Carolina for you?
Yeah, honestly, I thought the draft would go higher. Just because it's just good players. You could maybe say there's not a guy that might become a superstar on this, but Sam Heck, to me, I thought he had a great. I think he went out there and he just performed well at the Senior Bowl, especially when doing those position drills. They're basically like how for it is for the DBs. I mean, they're kind of just it's what's the word I'm looking for? They're at a disadvantage. Yeah, and I thought he did it really well in those drills with that disadvantage. And then you added it with the tape. I think he's just the center that you want, man. He's just a captain of the offensive line. That's just the type of guy. And to get him in the 5th round is a little bit of a steal to me. So it's just a good draft. Because even Zakee Wheatley, I thought Zakee Wheatley has some pretty good film too. Like I said, it's not the best film in the world, but it's some good film. And I think they stuck to value and got some solid players all over it.
Smitty, any final notes on this one?
No, we know the Vikings are coming off the board here, right? So.
I considered pivoting to the Chargers. That would be my next selection, but I'm going to stick with the Vikings. I'm going to stick with the Vikings. I let the cat out of the bag. The big question mark is Caleb Banks, right? That's the question mark in terms of him staying healthy. But the flashes are immense. Big man moving like that is uncommon, and I think that's part of the reason why he struggled with injuries, because you're carrying that kind of weight and moving in that manner. It's not natural per se. So hopefully he can get that under control, because I think he's as talented as any interior defensive lineman in the class. All day, I think will be put in a position to be more effective, or I guess take a little off his plate so he can just play fast, right, and be physical. I love Big Citrus, right? Again, this was an area of this team that they needed to address to get younger. They did so with Banks and Dominique Orange. And when you talk about two down players, the conversation generally starts, late day three, mid to late day three. But considering the depth, I understand why a number of them went earlier, but I really liked Big Citrus there. So imagine having to block both Dominique Orange and a healthy Caleb Banks. Once they get their sea legs, once they kind of figure things out. Turner was an intriguing offensive tackle prospect as well. The selections through the first 3 rounds in particular really impressed me. Jacoby Thomas put it all together this past season. I wasn't sure what to expect when he transferred to Miami, but he was a difference maker. Sees the field well. He's physical. I don't know that he always does a great job of wrapping up, but he does bring a certain level of physicality and some playmaking to that back end. I'm a sucker for a fullback. I'm an old head as it relates to dotting the I. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think linebackers today, given their size and just the nature of the spread offense, how that's proliferated throughout the NFL, that they're accustomed to legitimate lead blockers, right? And you think about Michigan's success on the ground over the last several years, Redison had a lot to do with that. So, finding ways to create some consternation on the defensive side of the ball with a lead blocker, I think is always something that I'm intrigued by. And then Charles Demings, I kind of put him in the masses conversation, not the same type of player, but the value, and the ability coming out of Stephen F. Austin. They've needed some more teeth in terms of their running game. And DeMond Claiborne, he's a big play waiting to happen. So again, they had a lot of draft selections, and I think they made the most of them. I really do think the Vikings made the most of them. It's going to come down to Banks when it's all said and done, right? That's what people will hang their hat on in terms of how effective this class is. But I think you got a couple day one difference makers, not necessarily difference makers, but contributors, and then certainly in 2027, 2028, I think you got a few more starters rolling in. So I like this class quite a bit.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this class too. Banks is always interesting to me because I always thought that he was a 335-pound guy who thought he was Chris Jones, and then he said his idol was Chris Jones, and it kind of made sense. It just clicked in my head. Because that's how he tries to play. He tries to play like he's Chris Jones, a little kind of finesser. Chris Jones, historically is not the greatest run defender. And that's where Banks really has to get better at, to me. I mean, when you're that big, you got to play the run, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, dog. I know you don't want to. I know you want to get after the quarterback, but you're 335 pounds, dog. You got to play the run, man. I'm sorry.
That's what Big Citrus is for.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I know Big Citrus is coming in, but bro, come on, man.
Right? You're right.
And then Golday, I think he's fascinating to me because he changed positions and he just has that athleticism to him. I think he's a perfect fit. But the pick that I really like here, I like the Demings pick because I think Demings really needed a fit for somewhere where he could play press and not have to change directions too much. He could play cover 2 and do a lot of the things that Brian Flores is doing these days. He's not doing as much cover 0, even though he's doing it still more than everybody else is, but still a lot of that cover 2 things and a lot of that zone. And I think Demings really fits that, where he can press somebody, play some zone, show his range a little bit where he doesn't have to change directions. Cause I think that's kind of his little bit of his issue. So, and then Claiborne in the 6th round, I really like that pick. So yeah, I really like this draft. And I like the fullback too. Let's play some smash mouth football here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching Banks in Mobile, right? Because obviously he missed most of the 2025 campaign. You could see it day one. His pad level was incredibly high. He was getting pushed around, moved off the ball. It didn't look good, but by halfway through day 2, he looked like the best player on the field. Right. So it's not a question of talent. And to your point, Marcus, he needs to approach run defense the way he does in terms of getting after the passer, because it's not a question in terms of ability. it's a want to,
Mhm.
right? It's taking that part and having, really taking ownership of that aspect of the game. But yeah, if he can stay healthy, I'm thrilled with this particular class for the Vikings.
Yeah, Golday feel like just tailor made. As he kind of transitions from sort of like nickel overhang a little bit to like figuring out maybe the more of the ins and outs of linebacker, like getting him up in the A gap, letting him sprint out of there, like just running, get him moving forward. All of that stuff I think is going to be beneficial. And yeah, I feel like I've in Dynasty drafted or gotten Damon Claiborne everywhere because I just think that there's a really good chance for him to kind of take over this backfield. Jordan Mason, kind of your, short yardage, isn't going to rip off big runs. He's kind of the more patient smash mouth, run him behind the fullback you've just drafted type of guy. And then, Aaron Jones, extremely talented. Is he going to play the whole season?
Yeah.
History would point to no. And so then you have kind of your, potentially contrasting styles, your foils, if you will, between Claiborne and Mason. I think Claiborne could really make some noise.
Jennings was my favorite pick for them, and I think when you include like Golden, really all their defensive players into the conversation, like I just think about how much fun B-Flow is going to have with them, and it kind of brings the whole picture together for me. Like it makes this is, I guess, with every team you talk about fit, right? But I think it's just, to me, all that much better because of him being the one running the show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the Vikings just added Jamal Adams too. Right now.
What?
Oh wow. Okay. Sure.
All right. Why not?
No, I'm serious. Why?
Is he making that roster?
He played okay last year for the Raiders. I think this is what he did. He wanted to go out there just so he could play another, like, on a contender the year before. He knew he was going to have to do something. He played. He was okay. That's what I would say.
If anybody can get the last bit of juice that he's got in him, probably Flores. If I were to trust anybody.
So what? Nickel backer is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can see it.
I get with that.
I hate that. I was trying to think of a Nickelback joke, but come up with it in time. Couldn't come up with it in time.
Oh man.
So we move.
Could be a rock star out there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's stop. Thanks to Juice being so gracious, I will take the Miami Dolphins here. You know what? I just feel like I'm just repeating myself with every draft class that I'm picking here, where the first selection might have been amongst my least favorite of them.
That's an interesting theme you're putting together here.
It is.
Big Chris Johnson fan. I know we're not going to see him right away, but big Chris Bell fan as well. Hope that he can get back on the field sooner rather than later. Kyle Lewis, I don't know what the deployment's going to be, but one of my favorite players in the class. So much fun to watch. I will say, again, been a bit of a theme for me, the tight end selection with where it was with Will Kashmerick.
Yeah.
And as an Ohio State fan, I mean,
Wow.
I appreciated the work as a blocker, but, I love J-Rod.
Sure.
I think there's 5 or 6 guys in this class that I feel pretty good about, but with the amount of darts that they had to throw, that's more than anything why I'm taking. Like, again, going back to what our exercise is here, trying to get the most out of this class, the more darts you got,
Sure.
Yeah.
the more that are bound to hit.
Yeah. I just want to pick your brain here, your 4th round pick. Any thoughts on what, Caden Proctor?
No, there were no
Are we
thoughts.
okay with that? Okay.
Oh.
Also, any thoughts, Caleb Douglas going up? I know Marcus had Caleb Douglas on, if I'm not mistaken, on his channel throughout the process. So that,
I mean, you talk about opportunity that he's going to have out the gate.
yeah.
In this receiver room.
Mobile.
Yeah, big mobile. He's a good guy too. Like he understands. He's super intelligent. Like, a lot of wide receivers, they don't see the game like he does. Man, he knew everything. He knew what everybody was doing on the field in the offense. Right? He knew what the running backs assignment was. So I think that has a lot to do with it. That he was able to sell himself that way. because he went a whole lot higher than I thought he was going to go, honestly.
Yeah, which, if again, it's their first draft, but where Eric Sullivan is coming from, day 2 receivers tend to go well, coming over from Green Bay. So, as Smitty, you said, really good opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Taff is another one that I think is, again, just a guy who I think understands the game. I think they got a few of those type of players. Like Marcus mentioned, Douglas. I think Rodriguez does really well. Chris Johnson, absolutely. Lewis and Taff, both of them. Like I think when you talk about it, at the very least, like defensively with Hafley and what they're going to be doing, he's got a lot of guys entering that room with a lot of experience. In I think especially Kyle Lewis, like difficulty of assignment with what they put on the back half of that defense. Like he understands how difficult it can be back there, and he answers the bell all the time. And yeah, I mean, I'm with Smitty. Chris Johnson, real shame he went really early, but it was deserved. Really, really good from that.
I got one nitpick of Chris Johnson.
Okay.
One. I need him to be more physical at the line of scrimmage.
He's a much more recognition player.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of mirror
sure.
and match.
Mm-hmm.
And if he would just take it upon himself to disrupt the receiver at the line of scrimmage, mix it up. Now, I'm not suggesting that you got to be, Al Harris, physical press coverage. Like, that's not what I'm suggesting, but mix it up a little bit more. I think he could be that much effective. He's excellent, but I think that's the one thing I'd like to see out of him. I could see the Dolphins. There's a clear pattern here in terms of players in Mobile. The Rodriguez Lewis second level of the defense. Just watching those two, the playmaking ability that they bring to the table. Perhaps obviously I shouldn't say perhaps, obviously undersized. And if I'm not mistaken, they just extended what's his name? Yeah. So interesting to see how they ultimately deploy. I think Louis will be in those, obvious passing situations, kind of being your dime backer. Could probably play a little nickel for you because they have concerns on the back end. But I'm excited to watch the two young linebackers and see how they kind of develop in this defense. They're like I said, they're playmakers. They get their hands on the football. I've never seen a linebacker play that effectively in one-on-ones, right? Marcus alluded to it earlier in terms of the fact that, the one-on-ones tend to favor the receivers, the backs, and he was an eraser, man. He was an absolute eraser. So, it was shaky at the beginning because I'm like, okay, well, Downs is there. All right, they traded out. Okay, Dallas gets Downs. All right, let's see what they do here. Caden Proctor, a little bit of a head scratcher, but to your point, Jake, I understand considering who's making the decision.
Yeah, who's taking the 500-foot home run swing in the first round?
Exactly. The body
coming
type,
over from Green Bay.
Absolutely. But from there on out, except for maybe the Kasmeric selection, they just kept on, ticking those boxes. Taft probably goes a full round earlier if he tests better. Because the tape is really strong with respect to him. He just doesn't project to be a great athlete. So there's that. To me, the wild card here is Chris Bell at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even more so than Caden Proctor, because I think you could ultimately, worst case scenario, you can kick Caden Proctor inside. Worst case scenario. Bell it's about his health. Is he going to be those foot injuries to receivers and defensive backs? I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
Any Alabama tackle, I get scared. I'm traumatized. It's trauma.
It's been a while since that selection, but I understand. I understand that one. Yes, I get it. The Giants fans are feeling it too, for sure. But yeah, no, this was as Green Bay as I was expecting them to be. Just ultimate. Oh my gosh, watch how far I'm going to try to hit this baseball the first round. Just an unbelievable swing. And then they go, okay, well, let's settle in. Let's settle in here and get to business with Chris. It started even the first round with Chris Johnson. So I like the pick, Smitty. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. Actually, a lot of options here for me.
I got one team left in my top 10 classes on the board.
Juice mentioned one of the three that I'm deciding between, if only briefly. And I have to decide.
I also
if
have
I'm
one
gonna
left.
Go that way. Oh, man. It would be, I mean, I really want to pick them.
So do it.
All right.
Jake, I don't know if you know this. You have control of who you pick.
I do have the board at my disposal. But I can't pick two teams. That's the problem. I'm just really.
Who are the two teams?
So I guess what I'm deciding between is Cincinnati, the Chargers, and Philly. I think are the three teams that I'm looking at.
Take the Chargers
were the one that I thought you were going to take.
That's my last top 10 as well, Smitty. Like the Chargers.
Yeah. I really.
No, wait. Do not take Philly, because then we're going to have to talk about.
Well, it might be a content play. It might be a content play.
It might be a content play.
It might be a content play here.
I'm just going to say a bunch of stuff that you can't monetize.
Or I could put together I had an opportunity to do this, to put together every Pittsburgh Steelers division rival on my team. If I'd taken the Browns first, I could have actually done that.
You had the opportunity.
But I think the only thing that sours me on Cincinnati, we may get there, but I think, we got to do it. We got to content play this. I really want to pick the Chargers, but I'm not doing it. Let's go here. I'm going to pick the Eagles. For one reason, I get to talk about Mekhi Lemon, who I really enjoy talking about, play football. Just because he is really, really talented. You don't see a lot of players as well seasoned at the catch point as him, especially as a smaller guy. Like he knows when to attack, right? There's a play against Illinois. He is in the zone triangle and he goes, okay, I'm not waiting for this ball to get to me. I will stop. I will attack it with good hands and make catches. He goes up and gets a football on multiple occasions. There plays by the sideline. The one play against Iowa where he's running up the seam and he's basically getting tackled before the ball gets there. And because he's tracked it so well, he makes the play. I think a really good processor when the ball is arriving, of where to get his feet down, to get them down early, to attack post catch. He's not the fastest player, but he also just destroy you from off coverage. Just excellent stuff. Him and Devontae Smith, I can't tell you how excited I am about those two being on the same team. They go get an athletic player in Stowers, who I think is just, don't think we're playing in line, buddy. I don't think we could do that, which is, Juice and I were talking about this of like, did they kind of pull the redundancy card a little bit? And after thinking about it for some time, it's like, well, if Mannion takes some stuff, not only from Shanahan McVay, but also maybe from what Kubiak was doing last season, you see some tighter splits. The two receiver stuff, we can get Stowers on the field then and call it pseudo 11, and we can kind of put together all of these things for Hurts to maybe, put that on his plate. Markel Bell, love the swing. I know Derek Moore ran him over in Mobile. Could be a Josh Connerly situation where, he got once and Connerly got by Mike Green, and his teammates were like, no, he had a great week. And, I'm never going to fault teams, especially Philly, where it's like Lane Johnson, we got to find the solution. They've been swinging. Cameron Williams previously. I get it. There is a small chance that Philly has their QB of the future on their team right now because of who they picked in round 5. Not saying, I'm just saying, potentially we got a Cole Payton situation developing here in Philly where, we'll see. This could be a real evaluation year for Hurts, and they could, I can't believe it. They might cut bait, and Howie is ruthless when it comes to this. He will do it. Love the Micah Morris selection.
Wait.
What?
Not for Cole Payton though.
No. Probably for a drafting
2027 class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they might have it. I don't quite think so. I think he's got a long way to go.
The content play had nothing to do with me. I get it, Jake. Thank you.
I'll get there at the end, I promise. We'll circle back around. It's be a great transition. You just want me to get to the transition point. But I love Micah Morris. I think he could be a great addition to the O-line, actually, as a guard. Wisniewski, I think, is really underrated. That Texas Tech defense had a ton of talent, especially up front. You know, you get all of the, Lee Hunter, David Bailey, Romello Height, Jacob Rodriguez stuff, and it's like Wisniewski knows where to be as well on the back end and is at times helping the rush get home. Then they took the swing of all swings, taking a guy who had tested similar to Calvin Johnson and guys at the top of athletic testing and a 6'3", 300-pound player coming over from Nigeria who who knows what could happen. It's an absolute dart throw, but how he would do it. And yes, the last bit of this to bring up the content play, the Pittsburgh Steelers were on the clock with Mekhi Lemon, we're on the phone, with Mekhi Lemon. And then Dallas moved back, and Philly moves up to take Lemon in front of them. Smitty, I know we talked about this a lot that Thursday night. You don't have to say anything.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I don't even remember being on.
We covered it.
Honest.
We did cover it. Unfortunately, it was a tough scene. It was.
I was up until like 5 a.m. thinking about it.
Yeah.
Not really. One of my boys that was staying here actually went up to Pittsburgh for the draft and somehow ended up hanging out with a bunch of photographers from the NFL and didn't come back to my house until like 5 a.m. So I had to stay up until he got here. Anyway, yeah, that clip is going to be playing for the rest of time with Mekhi Lemon on the phone with Omar. And it's like it's such a bad look because you can't even sell that like Ihanature was the guy you wanted all along. Like I don't think nothing against Max Ihanature. I think could be a very good player at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
But that was clearly not the plan. Clearly not the plan.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Anyone else on Philly's draft class?
I was just going to throw this out to anyone. Any thoughts on their undrafted free agent class? Lawson, Daquan Wright, Jaden Roberts.
Do I get to include those?
Sure.
All right. No, they did.
I thought we were doing a separate draft for that.
That's interesting. Actually,
start up the.
Gosh, nobody probably did that.
Start up the race.
Start up the duck race.
Start up the duck race. Gosh, everybody on their back foot. That could be fun. But no, yeah, I think. Yeah, we don't often talk about any of the the undrafted free agents. But yeah, Lawson I think is interesting. They've got their 1-2 punch. I think is going to be outrageous this year, right? I think Campbell's going to be. Man, I fear going against Philly's defense all year. I really do, because I think Bond and Campbell are going to be good. But I do like that. Daquan Wright, yeah, I did like Wright a lot. Sharper on route breaks, and gave enough in line where it's like if he just lands better strikes consistently, you might have something there as well. Yeah. They might have, yeah. Listen, Philly might have done it again, and everything's going to be fine this year somehow, and they seem to do that after down years, which credit to them. I feel like the last half of my draft was kind of fluffing, two of the better minds when it comes to the draft, but it is what it is. I feel like they had to be. I feel like their classes had to be picked. I might regret it, to be fair.
I think ultimately this is a solid class. Perhaps I understand the content play, but this is a solid class, particularly when you add in Grenard. I think that because that to me was one of the bigger concerns, right? Was pass rush. Jalix Hunt is your top returning pass rusher. He had 6.5 sacks. It's not going to get it done. You know what I mean? So that was big.
Yeah, I would like to include all of that in my sales pitch for the Eagles here. Yes, Grenard, Daquan Wright, Deontay Loss, all those. Yes. I appreciate Juice helping me out, helping me hoover up some more points, perhaps when all is said and done here. When we look back on this one for Philly, but yeah, I think, it was. I have to shout this out because it was hilarious because I listened to these guys on the Read Optional, John Ledyard and Ollie Connolly. they were doing a mock draft, I believe, either the week before or the week of the draft, and Ollie Connolly says, "Oh yeah, Grenard was traded to the Eagles, right? Because he's not on Twitter, he's not doing all this." But he basically broke that. All the aggregators picked it up early in the week, and it was like, okay, like, you know, he basically broke trade news before any of it was mentioned, and then obviously it goes down on night 2 of the draft, which I thought was pretty hilarious. So, because they were talking about edge rushers for Philly in the first, and he's like, "Well, no, they're going to get Grenard." And then it was like, dude, they have him, right? And that was the whole thing. It was very interesting. But yeah, we got one more pick.
I have to go 2 AFC West teams here. I was hoping you were to take the Chargers just so I'd have to do this, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to go the Chargers.
To get off the board, yeah.
I think the Chargers just – I thought they just hit everything that they really needed, man. Messidor, I think Messidor is perfect to kind of replace Khalil Mack eventually, right? And then kind of be that guy where they can move him and Thule around. I think he could play inside, so they can move him and Thule around based on matchup. Thule could play inside, outside. Messidor could play inside, outside based on matchup. I really like those two there. Kind of mix that up. It makes that D line just very versatile altogether, right? And you know, I think Messidor, even when he is inside, I think he does a great job of playing the run too when he plays inside a little bit too as well. So I think that was a good pick. For them, I really like Jake Slaughter too. I was a big Jake Slaughter fan. I think he's just a solid center. Definitely can help with that position. I think that's something they're missing a little bit with Justin Herbert. Once Herbert lost, dude from the old Green Bay center, I think he kind of I think he kind of fell off a little bit there too, because I think that center quarterback relationship is a big factor. And Herbert's best years, he had him as a center, and I think that's a big factor. And I think that's important for them to get that position down. Now, Brennan Thompson. He is the Mike McDaniel guy, I think, here. I think we're going to see him get maximized way more than we think, because his tape is fun, man. I really loved his tape and what he can do, his route running skills. You know, you can talk about maybe him beating press and things like that, but I think that's where Mike McDaniel's mind comes in, where he moves him around a little bit, get him certain matchups. He's getting him off the motion. He's coming around and avoiding press coverage, and you know, then Herbert has the arm to get the ball to him, right? And, you know, one thing about Justin Herbert is like he really enters the mind of the offensive coordinator. So if the offensive coordinator wants him to be aggressive, he's going to be aggressive. If he wants him to be a little bit conservative, he's going to be conservative. If he wants him to run like he did last year and kind of get beat up, he's going to run like he did last year and get beat up. So I think Herbert's going to really fit what Mike McDaniel likes to do. Travis Burke is just an asshole. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know what to get you on.
Yeah, that's fine. You're good. You're fine.
That's all I don't even know if he's good or not. I know he's an asshole. And I like that in my offensive lineman. just like he just I don't you know, he does not like defensive players, I guess. I mean, there's something, I don't know what happened to him in high school or something. I don't know. He got picked on early as a kid. I don't know, but he takes on other people. I really like that. Genesis Smith is one of the guys I really liked in the draft.
not to be confused with Zachary Smith.
Yes.
Right.
Not to be confused. But Genesis Smith, you know, the reason why he fell this far is because of tackling. Let's keep it real, guys.
Yeah,
it's a funny watch to watch him tackle when he comes up, tries to get in there. Pretty hilarious. But he's range, coverage, all those things. He does that really well. He's intelligent too, just like Trayvon Stukes, just like him and the whole U of A secondary. It's very intelligent guys. And then Nick Barrett, I think Barrett is a great pick too here because, you know, with Thule and Messidor being able to move around and be versatile, you have that guy who could play 3-tech and also could probably play on first down. In my opinion, I think he could play one technique or something like that, kind of, you know, be a nose or like in certain downs and, you know, play a little bit more inside, and he could play the run really well. And that's what he does, man. He's a monster there. Right. And you know, when you have a defensive tackle that can do that, at least, you know, and maybe you see a little bit, maybe a pass rush ability, maybe, but Barrett run defense, fantastic. So I really like those guys. I like Logan Taylor too. Logan Taylor is somebody that, you know, a lot of Raiders fans wanted there because I think he fits the outside zone scheme. It kind of tells you what kind of run the scheme they're going to be running when you get a guy like Logan Taylor a little bit later in the draft. So I really like this draft. I do.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Chargers are and other outlets are listing Slaughter as their starting left guard, which could be another, again, like Rutledge best 5 situation. We've got Yadish in there. And, you know, we
Played
want
some
Slaughter
part
to
in
play.
Mobile, too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we want him to do that. Yeah, I think, as you said, Marcus McDaniel, Brennan Thompson, and Keaton Mitchell, I feel like we'll be hearing their names quite a bit this year. And it'll be kind of out of, you know, kind of in spurts where it's like, you know, people, the fantasy space are going to be really peeved because Hampton's off the field. Why is this Mitchell guy? And he's ripping off, you know, 25-yard runs, explosives. And same with Thompson, probably taking some stuff from Ladd. And that's, yeah. Yeah, and again,
I'm very much
you know,
looking forward to Keaton Mitchell not taking those for the Baltimore Ravens.
that's fair.
I think underrated loss for that offense, by the way.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very
Agreed.
true. And
I never understood how you went undrafted. Was there an injury or anything? It didn't make sense to me.
small, I guess. I don't know.
I think they had him
Which
taking
seems-
snaps at center.
Oh man.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
I
a
agree.
great question.
The Ravens are going to feel that. I guess the thought process is Adam Randall will be the guy.
Well,
Yeah.
when you let the owner make the pick,
owner pick. Yeah,
Yeah.
the owner pick.
he might play over Henry.
Like, owner, why don't you call a play? And he's like, get my man Randall in there. I drafted him. No, I think Nick Barrett is a really good shout too, because of just, again, I think teams that truly, I think you look up and down kind of what we've put together for our drafts here is like teams who kind of waited and stayed patient at defensive tackle, didn't jump the gun, and kind of, you know, we're like, okay, yeah, there are guys who can be just as much a part of the rotation as guys that are getting picked in rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I like that. They 3 picks along the offensive line, or 4 picks, excuse me, along the offensive line is nothing to sneeze at. I know Juice and I have talked a lot about that at times of like, man, if you have that issue, go address it. You should be addressing it all the time, period. Like that's, you know, should never be complacent there. And I think, yeah, I think they nailed it. And yeah, as long as Genesis Smith isn't in the box, lowering his helmet or kind of arriving to contact straight up, I think they'll be okay back there, taking away a lot to help the pass rush that Marcus talked about with Mesidor moving inside and all that. So, yeah. It's a good one.
Anytime you need offensive line, go get offensive line, or take a running back in the first round and then take Kendrick Green and Dan Moore in the 3rd and 4th. That'll probably work out the same
Honestly,
way.
I thought you were going to make a Seahawks joke there for a second. I thought,
no.
I thought you were going to make a Seahawks joke. But, no, that is a.
Remember,
really-
was it the year they took Charbonnet? You were like, "Up, the Seahawks pick is in," and I was just like, "Wait, what running back is it?" Before even knowing
Yeah,
who they took.
that's
you're like,
right.
Zach
Yeah,
Charbonnet.
that was the one. That was right. Yeah, that was the time we were like, "Oh, it's probably just gonna be a running back. That'd be funny, haha." And then they
Needed it.
should have seen it coming. This ultimate heat check again. Team we didn't draft, but Josh Schneider heat check. Give me the running back.
How many picks did they end up having in this class? 4 or
The
5?
Seahawks
Yeah.
wasn't many. Yeah, I think it was. I think
Who's
they
that?
took-
Seattle?
They took like
Yeah.
Bud, they took Bud Clark.
No,
which-
they traded down. They started with 4, but they
Oh,
came
they
in
got-
with
Oh,
quite a
wow.
few.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And that
They
guy
picked
there
up a
at
bunch of
64,
Oh, Andre Fuller. One of my favorite
that guy at
day 3
64.
sleepers.
gosh, they got they kind of reloaded the secondary pretty
They
nicely.
did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But again, Smitty, I can't believe would this have made your team in the 5th round? Just didn't love the 1st round selection, but love the rest of it. Is this on your radar? If we did a round 5,
Yeah, I love Clark.
Clark
I really
and
like
Lewis,
both
nice.
Stevens too. And you don't even have to just tell me Iowa interior offensive lineman, and I'm signing up.
That's fair. That's fair.
Me too. Exactly.
That's fair. Got a potential couple of them next year too, which is exciting. We'll let everybody go through their kind of drafts of the thought process here to finish up, and you can kind of plug all that stuff. Were there any other teams where you're like, this team could have been drafted, was thinking about them if we had a 5th round, or just in general? Because I know there were a couple potentially.
We stayed pretty true to the teams that I have at the top here. The closest one that we didn't take would have been the Titans, I guess.
Okay, want to go there? Let's go there.
Which, if
first.
I had to pick another one,
You had to pick another one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Carnell Tate coming off. They need it. They needed it. Took advantage of the linebacker class. that just it was really interesting, and wonder what other people think about this. For the solid defense to go get Falk, of all guys, was kind of a bit of a head scratcher to me. Anthony Hill makes perfect sense. That's 100%.
It's my favorite pick.
What he's thinking, what Salah's thinking about
class.
there, like big enough to that should be better coming downhill, but has all the size and speed on top of it.
I think for Falk to work, you gotta move him inside in passing situations.
Yeah,
I to maximize his value, leverage his length against some of those guards, because he just doesn't have the explosiveness necessary to be consistent off the edge. Right? I'm sure he can win with his length from time to time. Early downs, it's fine. He's a quality run defender. He plays with a great motor. But yeah, I think in obvious passing situations, you want to flank him with guys who can threaten tackles upfield a bit more.
So who's their other? I know they went and got Jermaine Johnson. Who's the other, like, edge rusher incumbent right now?
I was looking at
for them, because I would have liked for him to go to like a more established place where I feel like he wouldn't have to play a bunch right away, and I'm not sure that that's in Tennessee.
I guess it depends at what if they're kind of going to be 4 and go, if they're going to play Franklin Myers.
Franklin Myers.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot they brought
Franklin Myers on the edge. I
Mm-hmm.
assume they are with how they're set up. They got Femi Oladejo.
Femi.
Year 2. Took him in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think playing him next to Simmons, best case scenario for him to affect the passer. I think under those circumstances, you might be able to get the return on that pick. I think coming into the 2025 season, I had Falk in the top half of the first round, but as I really dug into his film, I just don't see enough of an ability to threaten that outside, show that outside hand of a tackle. It's not there. So let me take advantage of those levers working against those guards, doing some of the TE stuff, crossing the face of the offensive lineman, slanting, so on and so forth. I think under those circumstances, he can be a bit more effective. And again, like I said, I love what he does against the run.
Any other thoughts on Tennessee? I'll give everybody. Smitty got the Titans there. If we want to go around the horn for everybody, get a team and go.
So basically, we went 5 rounds.
No, we're not going 5. We're just highlighting we're highlighting other classes and letting everybody get some words in about what
I'm gonna go a different route. Let's talk about how a terrible draft. But
sure.
The Niners.
Please.
Light them up.
Thank you.
The Niners. I think that when I looked back at when I looked at it again, I was like, I mean,
I feel like they were playing ping pong the whole way, just the whole way. Felt like a game.
Like they put so much pressure on Stripling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know much pressure. Like every single thing he does, like Des Bryant's commenting. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's right. He did that.
Yeah, he has so much pressure.
Man, why is his outside foot forward when they're doing this stuff in training camp?
like he's running the warm up. Like it's every single thing that he's gonna do, man. It's so I feel so bad for him because like I thought he was better to kind of be. I thought he was a day 2 pick. But man, they put so much pressure on him, dude. Because they did traded out of the first round, right? And like they passed him up to Mark Cooper and all these guys. And they took him.
Yeah. They were at 27 originally.
Yeah.
Right?
Cooper went 30, right? Yeah, they could have took Cooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
You got the obligatory running back pick.
Why do they do this to themselves? The third rounder, they got a big running back.
You never know. Maybe Brandon Ayuk wakes up tomorrow and decides he wants to be a 49er and
I guess
moves back to California.
Just snip, snap. That's what it felt like the entire way. Like I get it. They wanted the pass rush, right, with Height and Halton. But again, just offensively.
Kalen Black is crazy.
I was just that's where I was going to go. I have to appreciate they just keep doing the third round running back thing. Yep. Every year.
Trey
Every
Benson,
year
too,
they
like,
take them
yeah,
back.
it is every year, huh? Trey.
Tyrion Davis Price. Yeah, I mean, just, gosh, they really do just. They really do. They can't.
He's like third round. Shanahan's like, I gotta get it back. Perfect time for it back right here.
Just like it's so funny where it's like other teams would be like, man, give me a pass rusher, offensive tackle we could swing on, and he just consistently is like, nah, you know what? Round 4, Garendo 2 years ago. You know,
And they took him that high?
the 4th.
It was that 40. That
Danny
4-3-3.
Gray in 2022 at receiver in the 3rd round.
There was
Yeah, it was
another
Trey
Third round
Sermon,
comp.
Trey Sermon, 3rd
Trey-
round.
I said
in
Trey
Trey
2021.
Sermon. There you go. Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jalen Hurd, 3rd round, 2019. What is he? Is he running back, receiver?
Jalen Hurd.
They just can't. They can't stop themselves.
It's Shanahan. It's Shanahan.
It
I
is.
don't think that's John Lynch. I'm not giving John Lynch a pass per se,
Wait,
right?
does
But I
John
think that's a
Lynch pick
Shanahan
defense,
thing.
and John Lynch pick defense. Shanahan pick offense. Good.
Yeah, I think Shanahan has a little Gruden in him. Like he came up under Gruden a little bit too. I think he has that. Like, yeah, you have a GM, but like, bro, I'm Shanahan.
Right.
Have you seen Stribling block? Come on, John. You know what I mean?
Man.
He's probably still mad about not drafting Mac Jones. He let him draft Trey Lance. He's probably still mad at him.
Yeah, that's right.
I really like the Grayson Halton pick. If there's anything positive to glean from this thing, I really like the Grayson Halton pick. They traded for Odigizua as well. Last year it was West and my guy Alfred Collins. So I think they're set in terms of the interior defensive line. So for 49ers fans that might tune in, there you go. There's the silver lining for you right there.
Well, then to completely undo the silver lining, I believe both Height and Halton are hurt as training camp is getting underway.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's
not good.
They play for the San Francisco 49ers.
I know.
Yeah.
That has to
That
have
is a
that's
problem.
the
That
that's
is
the
a
initiation. Well, welcome in. Here's your access card. What injury do you want?
Please don't go. They're like, listen, you're going to have to eat near the substation. You're going to have to pick one of these. Yeah. It's just, what do we got for you? Calf strain. Yeah. What do we got for you? Oh, man.
Oh my God.
The training staff is here 24/7. Whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
Feel like we got double the training staff of other teams. We know. We'll be in here at all hours. Yeah. That is a fun one to highlight. I appreciate Marcus going the other direction.
This is the first time that I've ever been in a cafeteria where they just put ibuprofen right on the tray.
They got the rollers out there too. You know. Extra.
Why is
hydration
every seat in
packs,
here a
all this
massage
stuff.
chair?
Oh man. It's like you want an ice pack with that. It's not even an ice machine. It's just bags over there, the ice packs. Oh man. Different type of cafeteria. Juice, do you want to highlight one more, good or bad, that you're thinking about or not thinking about at all? Or
I'm gonna do this for content purposes. I like what the Bills did, kind of low key, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I want to hear Smitty's take.
I was wondering if we were going to go this way. I was wondering if we were going to do this potentially.
I mean,
because two of our teams got drafted. Two of our teams did not get drafted.
yeah.
Spoiler alert: Packers and
I
Steelers were
just
not picked. But
you had 12 picks, and this is what you came away with. Was this?
This is my favorite
How many
one.
of these?
I'm on the
Peyton
golf
Weekend?
course. Yeah, I'm
What
on
do
the
you have?
golf
What do you have,
course.
100 receiving yards in his career.
Oh, just on the golf course.
I will
Family.
say-
Even the
I will
family
say-
was like, he's not getting picked today. Even the family was, who are your biggest supporters, like, we're not getting picked today. Let's go play golf. Like, even the family's not in on it. And it gets the call.
Well,
like,
And the craziest thing about this
crazy.
is, as much as, again, Ihanachor could be a very good pick. I like Jeremy Bernard. I think he's super safe. I like the floor of what he brings to the table. Don't know that I ever expect him to be like a wide receiver one, but he's going to be an early contributor for sure. How quickly does he leapfrog Roman Wilson? I would like to think pretty early. But then you talk about like Drew Aller. Where in the world is the fit for Dalen Everett right away? Great athlete. Didn't love the tape. Jennings Dunker will eventually be I would assume at right guard because they just moved McCormick to the left side to play alongside Troy Fautanu. But like, there's a reality here where Caden Weegan is the only one that is actually like starting in a spot, offense, defense, or special teams right away for this team. And you came into this draft class with 12 picks, turned it to 10 because you moved around the board a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think there's a lot of value.
Fullback. Nowakowski at fullback.
I like Nowakowski.
I do too.
And I think they're using him a lot at like tight end too, or at least were in OTAs. I think that's going to be the plan. Is like he's going to determine, depending on the role, if they feel like they have to keep another tight end on the roster besides Pat and Darnell, which I like him enough as a receiver. I think that they can get away with that for sure. But he's going to be like the new Connor Hayward, maybe plus for them.
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't know who the hell Gabe Rubio was when they picked him. I'll be perfectly honest.
NFL.com doesn't either. So.
Yeah, folks. I was like, we ain't got a picture, nothing, man.
They have no idea who that is.
They have Wheatgens, and they don't have his.
Gabe Rubio's. No idea.
Spears Jennings is an interesting player. Like, the straight line speed is great. He looks like he's gonna be like a really good punt gunner. But like, you look at the testing, it's like, can this dude turn?
No, he can't.
Like, yeah.
He hits.
Eli Heidenreich, cool, feel good story. If he's only done running back stuff really to this point at OTAs. They haven't used him a ton at receiver. Is he gonna be able to pass pro? Like to unseat Travis Homer and Caleb Johnson, he's gonna have to be able to protect pass pro because that's not a strong suit of Rico Dowdle. Jalen Warren, absolutely, but
yeah,
they need a second back that can.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hated it.
I am like very genuinely excited about Ionichor. Him and Miller, I liked a lot more
it's the
personally
process,
than
man.
going Fano and
process.
Mawanoa early and Freeling even too.
Yeah.
I felt like I really liked Detroit and Pittsburgh when it went offensive tackle, just because I think.
Well, that's the thing is like
based
Raw
on
gets
plan
attached.
where we're going and like,
Yeah. The word raw just gets attached to him just because like relatively new to the game of football, but like the footwork is so advanced for somebody that's played as little as he has.
Yeah.
So
he had a great season, man.
I like him. It's just it was just how we got there. Like the process was just head scratching, and for the top to bottom, like it wasn't just about him. Just the entire draft, I feel like there was a bunch of value left on the board.
Yeah. I mean, after night one, I know again, 100% understand down to the dumps. Just kind of like, just can't even think straight because of what happened with Philly. But like, after night one, I was in 100%. I was like, this is totally good. I understand what's being built here. They may not have the QB in the building, probably not, right? And so it's like, okay, we know what this offensive line, what we want it to look like for core years when we feel like we're going to have the contending team. I loved that. But yeah, as you said, after it was kind of, it got interesting.
And I, like I said, I like Bernard, but you traded up to do it. It wasn't like a bunch, right? But you traded up to do it.
I hope your division rival doesn't have the better version of him. That's, I think, the biggest thing to potentially look at with that.
I could talk for an hour and a half about Drew Aller, but I don't want to do that. Dalen Everett, I don't see the role right away. He actually looked pretty good at OTAs. He was locking up DK Metcalf, and I don't know who that says more about.
No comment. I'm gonna decline media on that question.
Who I just wrote about, by the way, DK Metcalf on my Substack. Go check it out.
That's right.
Across the board, his numbers were like career lows last year, but yards after catch, number 1 in the NFL in terms of expected yards after catch.
Interesting.
Trivia question.
Those underneath
trivia
targets
question
from your boy.
Yes,
your boy.
But that's why I think somebody like him is almost like the type of receiver that you need that can turn into a running back after the catch.
Absolutely.
Trivia question. So he was number 1 in the NFL in expected yards after catch. I'm sorry. yards after catch above expected. Who was number 2? You're never going to get it. I'll tell you this. He's on the same team.
Darnell Washington. Dang it.
No. But
Calvin Austin?
Dang it.
you are incredibly warm.
I am?
Yes.
It's Fryermuth?
Yes.
Wow.
There was no chance.
Wow.
No chance. of getting that one.
Not a lot of opportunity last year.
Wow.
Hopefully that changes this year.
Yeah, I understand.
Is he going to be Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson for McCarthy?
Maybe. No, nothing wrong in being Jake Ferguson. So, I will highlight one more and then we can.
Well,
what?
You know, I mean, his personal life. He's married to one of those twins that are super annoying from Miami. Yeah.
Who,
so maybe
Fire with
just-
this?
No,
Ferguson is.
Ferguson,
Ferguson
yeah.
he's talking about. But yeah, I hate to do it. We've talked about every other AFC North team now, but this was the team I was looking at here to pick on multiple occasions. I'll let you know right now.
he says I hate to do it.
Cassius Howell, really like what he's going to provide. Completely different type of player in that room from Murphy and Stewart. Like completely different in the best way.
In the best way.
Just feel like he gets off the ball relatively clean and actually has some moves out there, which is always a plus. Truthfully, I really wish they had gone a different direction in the third. I think there was a real chance to capitalize, especially because they got Lou and Parker.
Yeah.
Two great swings along the offensive line and in the interior, even with like guys like that are returning. I think it was kind of a really good idea to be like, no, we're not going to be complacent. We've got, other stuff in the room there. And then I think Endries can be a really nice player in what Gesicki does for them already. If they want that, they're kind of building that archetype almost of just like, give me some guys who can run pretty decent routes and win the ball in the air, good hands, like the Endries, Josivash and Gesicki. They're kind of building that profile out, which I think makes a lot of sense. And then they go get Landon Robinson, who I get it is undersized, but boy, does he get after it. Obviously, the low pad level, explosiveness. Again, a perfect kind of foil to what else they have right now, which I think is a really big selling point. And probably was, again, we kind of talked about that as the selling point with San Francisco's draft, right? If you look at the silver lining of like just different types. But I feel like this had a chance to be really, really good. I think they kind of might have bottled a couple of these, but,
Yeah.
This is this is completely off topic, and this tweet is 8 hours old. Did anybody see this quote from Plaxico Burress today
No.
about playing for the Jets? Plaxico Burress said playing for the Jets was similar to being in prison because he walked into both facilities every day feeling like a loser.
What the?
Smitty, do you have any
Tell 'em how
regrets?
you
You
really
picked
feel.
them. You picked the Jets. Do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets about picking the Jets after hearing that?
Yeah, I do actually. Somehow I have more regret about them now than the Texans.
Sure.
And the other one was the Browns, who, like, again, on paper, obviously you got to take them, but
Sure.
how are they going to mess it up? It's organizationally as dysfunctional as you can get with those two.
Yeah. No, it's very, very fair. Yeah, we'll have everybody quickly run through it. Marcus, you're the first overall pick. You had the Chiefs, Colts, Saints, and Chargers. Any thoughts on the group you've built there?
I think it's a good group. I feel terrible that I took two AFC West teams, but besides that, it's just keeping it real here. I really like the Colts and Saints, so I like those two that I had in the middle. Big fan of those draft classes. And I do like the Chiefs draft class a lot. I do.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it. So I don't feel any type of way. I thought I came out pretty good here. I thought I came out pretty well.
Yeah, I think I might have. For me, I think I probably played a little bit into fluffing DaCosta and Roseman on the back half of this.
The kids call it
simping?
glazing, Jake.
Yeah,
Glazing,
glazing, yes.
simping, whatever you want to call it.
my
Definitely,
goodness.
definitely did both of those things. I think at the back half of this draft. But I stand by the first two for sure. Cowboys and Raiders, I thought just did exceptionally well. And yeah, I'm gonna bank on the simping for the Ravens and the Eagles. I guess in the back half of this. So that's where we're at. Smitty, Browns, Jets, Texans, Dolphins.
You pull those team names up, and I feel worse about it. If you strip away what the draft classes actually were, the players that they took, there was a lot of common things that we talked about within my draft classes. I liked the other picks besides their first pick more than pick number one. Absolutely. They took tight ends earlier than they should have gone. And now looking at this again, other than the Texans' somewhat recent success, they haven't won anything. They don't win. They're bad organizations. So hopefully these draft classes are what propel them to change that narrative. But historically, boy, that looks rough. The group that I got there attached to my name.
That's okay though, right? Like I'm riding teams that have been good, right, as well. Like Ravens, Eagles. That doesn't always work out. So, I like it.
Yeah.
The Browns was absolute no doubter, and Miami tons.
Yeah, I mean, those two.
You made the draft pick play 100%. The amount of draft pick play, you definitely.
Well, yeah, but I was not going to do that with the Steelers.
That's
we had 10. There was no chance of that happening. Sure. I got two of the ones that I had in the top 5.
Okay.
In the Browns and the Jets.
I like that. Did everybody get? Maybe Marcus didn't. I don't know if Marcus's top 5 was what it looked like exactly. If you got 2 of your top 5, I mean, being at the one spot, it's probably obviously.
Yeah, I got my best ones. I mean, besides the Raiders, I was trying to. Sure. I was just trying not to be a homer because I thought about taking the first.
I really thought you would. I was like, he's got the first. He should just do it.
I thought about doing it, but I was like, you know what?
Just do it right then and there.
I just come out here. I'm going Raiders. I just didn't feel right. So
I mean, I think it'll be that good. Juice had the Giants, Bucks, Panthers, and Vikings. Really interesting. Smitty had all AFC teams. Juice had all NFC teams. It does. And there was a little bit of collusion. Can't forget about that. Juice basically telling Smitty that he could pick the Dolphins, even because he wanted them. I don't know. But
well, that's good.
All kidding
very
aside.
Very similar to Omar. I was on the phone with the Dolphins, telling them that I was taking them.
You were on the phone telling him you're picking their draft. Well done. And Juice is not as ruthless as Howie Roseman, apparently, which is
thank God.
Yeah, but Juice. Kidding aside, thoughts on your draft here?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm probably higher than the rest of the panel on the Giants class. Like I said, I thought Colton Hood is kind of pulled it together. It's hard to mess up 2 top 10 picks, and by some accounts, not coming away with Downs or Vega, let alone both of them. Maybe a faux pas, but I thought the Giants did a pretty good job, top to bottom. The Bucks class I love as well. I think they addressed all their needs, and they got, like I said, 1A, 1B in the class. And Bane, Panthers, again, one of you mentioned it. Maybe not superstars within this class, but very good group, solid pros for an extended period of time. Again, addressing the vast majority of their needs, and I'm impressed with the Vikings class. Again, the wild card is Caleb Banks, but you speaking of big swings, when we talk about Caleb Proctor, whatever, Caleb Banks is a big swing. I like that big swing. I like that one. That one is sexy to me. So, yeah, I think across the board, stuck with the NFC, but across the board, I like each of these classes quite a bit.
Yeah. Any concern? You talked about messing up 2 top 10 picks. Any concern that the Giants have actually done that recently with Thibodeau and Neal?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
It's happened before. There's precedent,
organization,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
there's organizational precedent with respect to that. I thought they could go in a number of different directions, but they didn't overthink Reese.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a plan for Reese, you got to have a plan for Reese. Maui, I think he'll be fine, and I believe they're going to play him at guard initially. I think he'll be fine. Like I said, there has to be a plan for Reese. They desperately need guys who can actually fill and are gap sound in terms of the run defense. And considering what you already have as far as pass rush is concerned off the edge, you can take your time bringing him along. You can pick your spots with him, right? And perhaps maximize, because he's a very young player in his own right. But yeah, I think the Giants did a good job, all things considered. Considering that they didn't get Maine or Downs, I still like their class quite a bit.
I'm just poking fun. Don't worry. I'm just really juices.
Fine.
I'm simply upset that you took the Bucks and I didn't get a chance. That's really the. You just made me upset early on. I really wanted them. No, but yeah. Any final thoughts? Kind of covered a lot of the classes. So I again appreciate having y'all on there. Want to make sure before we get out of here that everybody can plug all their stuff and yeah. Any other parting thoughts on the way out? Smitty, we can start with you.
We didn't talk about. So we were doing the best, right? That's what we were trying to do, is find the best draft classes. I know that we briefly talked about some of the ones that stood out to us. Nowhere in that conversation, other than asking for the name of Nate Borticher, did we bring up the Jaguars, who I think far and away got the least value out of this draft class.
I agree.
I agree too.
I agree.
That's fair. Yeah. No, that's very true. It was an interesting journey, this one.
They're bored.
And I hope Mekhi Lemon has a terrible NFL career. There's my party thought.
Oh man. He will not be the only one, but yeah, this was.
I like Pregnon.
Yeah, I like Pregnon
too.
Everything
else.
I thought he was much more closer to Reynolds than what actually took place in the draft. I think as far as how they stack up to one another, I think they're a lot closer than what the draft suggested.
Yeah, this was an adventure for sure. We just talked about like, teams who kind of, again, you talked about the tight end run in a negative light. We kind of talked about like take a defensive tackle early in a negative light seemed to be, a common theme as well. They did both of those things, which is just, tricky stuff. Was that what you wanted to plug? You just wanted to plug the Jags? That was kind of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Just wanted to let the Jags fans know that you guys did horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, you made the trade last year to go get Travis Hunter, which I at the time was like, yes, keep him away from Cleveland. I love it. I don't even care if it works out for you. Just keep him away from Cleveland. Then you don't have a first round pick this year, and that's what you come away with. That'll be a good trivia question down the line. Who was the first pick the Jaguars made in the 2026 NFL draft?
Yeah. Yeah.
All 11 Jaguars fans will be pissed at me.
Yes, yeah. Good Lord.
Oh man. Do you want to actually plug what you're working on as well?
Oh, is that what we're okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually working on a bunch of stuff. I just mentioned I dropped the Smitty Scoops over on my Substack. Very creative name over there, by the way. Smitten with Sports. Obviously, Smitty, smitten with Sports.
I love it more than your draft.
Same. Low bar. Thank you. You can find me on social media. I am back on my personal account, Zachary Smith PGH. I was on hiatus for a while, starting back up over there. Again, you can find me over at Around the 412 3 times a week. We're on all the social medias, YouTube, all the listening platforms, and then Steelers Afternoon Drive, Monday through Friday, part of the Steelers Now crew, doing that every single weekday. I'll be out at Steelers camp, by the way, August 7th and 8th, and we'll have a bunch of content coming from that. Friday Night Lights, which was a yearly tradition, now Saturday Night Lights out there at Latrobe Memorial. So I'm excited to get out there and experience that. And a lot more content coming your guys' way.
Awesome. Juice?
Yeah, like I said, it's been a quiet summer, but getting back on that horse, Couch Potato General Manager on YouTube. Also, I actually have a YouTube channel that I have not done anything with in over 300 days, and that's going to be the name of the next video I do for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Hurricanes Football Vision YouTube channel. The next video will be A Lot Has Changed in the Last 300 Days. So look forward to that. But yeah, you predominantly find me NFL draft coverage all year round at Couch Potato General Manager.
And Marcus.
Yeah, Tape Don't Lie, Raiders Film Channel. So yeah, check me out there, doing all that good Raiders work over there. I'm gonna be at Raiders training camp too. I think around the same time you're gonna be out there, August 7th. August 8th. So I should be right there doing covering that. So check that out. And yeah, man, I'm excited for this year, and I'm doing some writing for Just Walk Baby. And of course, I'll do all the writing at silverblackpride.com. And yeah, man, check me out on Twitter. I'll be dropping a whole bunch of Raiders takes and making jokes and all that good stuff. So
awesome. Well, I appreciate all three of you coming on. Marcus, it was great to have you on for the first time. For those watching here, that potentially watching this back on YouTube, all those links, I'll make sure to, if I don't have them from all of them, I will put them all down below. And on Substack, if you're listening to this, on Spotify, if you're listening to this, that'll all be there as well. So I appreciate all of their time, but this was a long one. Hope everybody enjoyed.
Yeah, nice,
all
Jake.
of it. Oh man, but it was a lot of fun, and it'll be really cool to potentially, hopefully, bring this group back in a couple of years' time and see how this all looks. Maybe we've stumbled into a potential tradition here to kind of do this over and over. But thank you all those who tuned in on the stream tonight. I know there's a lot of comments about the Packers. We didn't pick them for good reason. It was not a good draft. But yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff if you're tuning in on YouTube here as well for me. So, but thank you all, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, everyone. Take care.